We've made it to the end of drafting season. This is our last streamed draft before we head off to Vegas, and we are going out with a doozy. We are bringing our friend Mike Leone on. We always have a lot of success drafting in these nosebleed high stakes leagues with him. And tonight we got a 5K league. This isn't the main event. This is a self-contained $5,000 buy-in league. Alpha plays only. That's the theme for tonight. This is Ship Chasing. Let's do it.
Pat Fryer Helmo.
This is why I'm hot.
Anita Handjob.
Fix your sight.
Jamar. Alpha play chase.
Are you kidding me? Kadarius Toney?
You can't handle the heat.
It looks like we're finally this boys. You're right.
All right. We are underway. CMC, CeeDee Lamb, Breece Hall, Mike Leone. How we doing, buddy?
Good. I think we're three, not to jinx it, but we're like 3 for 3, right? In our last, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
We ran away with it year 1. We had a miraculous second place finish year 2 on a team that was like kind of a disaster. And then last year we had the painful.
We tanked and got second late. Week
17. Schefter telling us not to play Kenneth Walker, and we really choked away first place.
We lost like 85 points in the final week to lose first place, something like that. It was
brutal. I was kind of.
But we won the regular season.
The regular season, we just didn't win the sprint.
Yeah, the loss almost didn't even hit me because I just assumed we had won, and then when we lost, I was like, oh. It took a while to tilt it.
I was in New Orleans for the final week and sweating some teams that were really high up in like the FFPC main and all that stuff. And then I went to the national semifinal, my Huskies, the day later. But I remember when I heard about this, like as I was hearing about a lot of stuff from different co-managers, I was kind of in a blur. I remember hearing about that and I was like, wait, what? I'm misunderstanding. Like there's no fucking way we lost that one. Like that one was locked up 2 weeks ago. But we lost it.
So the big watch tonight was where Jamar Chase would go with the potential to maybe miss week 1. He does go 1-8 here. So a little bit of a slide, but nothing crazy here, fellas.
Yeah, same with top 9.
I think that's where I'd take him either 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. I'd definitely take Jefferson ahead of him at this point, but this is sick to get the 112 in a sharp room. I mean, it's not the place you want to be.
Yeah, we're not going to get any faller here that we had kind of hoped for.
It was 2 years ago where we had the 1-6, and it was Eckler who we all kind of was like, God, are we pulling the trigger here? And then we built an awesome team with that pick. Yeah. So I trust in our ability to make do with what's given to us here.
We've made some not non-traditional, but non-conventional for us teams these 3 years.
And the original Alpha Play team,
and the Alpha Play team was on the corner.
Yeah,
it was. Porta we had all kind of just talked about pre-show being comfortable with.
So I am Puka tight end here. I think Puka
McBride sounds great to me.
Week 17, baby.
That was my lean. Where are you at, Pat? Are you in a garage?
I mean, I do have Kelsey over McBride, but I don't mind going McBride if you guys prefer. Puka, I'm happy to go.
I'm neutral. I am neutral on this.
I would definitely prefer another McBride share.
I'm McBride tight end 1, so I feel pretty good about that take too. So I'll wear that, Pat, if you want to blame me later. You could let me know that I was an idiot.
Well,
you can blame me.
We did truth serum takes. Yeah, we can go ahead and take McBride here. I think, especially in tight end premium, like I'm definitely nervous about McBride. But I feel like if you're gonna go in on McBride, then you should. His superpower potentially is just racking up receptions. Like that's I think how he if you're fading him and he burns you real hard. To me, a big part of that is he just is a PPR machine.
Can you give the?
But I did give him my. Yeah. What?
I was gonna say, can you give the anti? Why are you so nervous about it?
Well, he wasn't that great of a prospect. He was solid, but he was kind of in the Freiermuth-y, Cole Kmet type of range. He very inefficient as a rookie. doesn't earn targets, doesn't pass Zach Ertz. Then the second year, he doesn't pass Zach Ertz either. Zach Ertz gets hurt. He consolidates volume in an offense that has really no one else. Rondale Moore just got passed by Ray-Ray McCloud before he got hurt. On the Falcons. Michael Wilson did not earn targets as a rookie. Greg Dortch barely played. So it's impressive. I'm not trying to take it away as not being impressive, because it is. And it's a good offensive coordinator. And you get Kyler Murray, a healthy year. But they did add Marvin Harrison, which could potentially shake things up from his ability to consolidate all that volume. Now, I mean, their defense stinks, and I think they'll play to win. So it's not that I don't see the paths for him. I definitely do, and I'm not fading him. I've been kind of staying with market on him, but my truth serum thing was are we sure he's actually that good? Because it really comes down to half a season, and everything we had before that season was either kind of middling or a little concerning.
Well,
we're very concerned.
I push back on that a little, because, and you and Sean are two people that I trust the most on the prospect stuff, and you guys sometimes have differing opinions, but you said he was a pretty middling prospect. Sean thought he was a really strong prospect. Wanted to target him in the second round of every rookie draft. I remember him being really, really high on him pre-draft. He had a 26% targets per route run as a junior, over 30%. I mean, it was a senior year, but he had 1,100.
No, he was a good, as far as second round rookie pick targets go, no pushback there whatsoever. But just the fact that he was going in the second round of rookie drafts, I think, tells you something.
Okay.
Wasn't Laporta going in the second round of rookie drafts?
Laporta was early second round, yeah. But
most
McBride
that's
was
where
more
the tight ends
mid to late
in.
second.
Yeah.
We
haven't had a first round guy since Pitts, right? That was a first round rookie. I mean, those are very rare first round tight end prospects in Dynasty.
Yeah, but McBride was going more in that Cole Kmet, Pat Freiermuth type range than even Laporta, because Laporta and Kincaid ended up going late second. Laporta was early second. He went after Mayer.
Not to interrupt this would have been a nice room to pick from the front and maybe start Breeze Bijan and then see all this green in this second round.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, since we picked McBride, JT, Derrick Henry, Gibbs, Kelsey, Barkley. I mean, the other thing, it's I don't know. Can we hold against Trey McBride that it was only a half a season? Cliff Kingsbury buried his best player, and then the guy absolutely demolished when he got a full snap share. How can you even hold that against him?
So
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
The half season thing is, I mean, it was from week 8 on. He had 144 target pace, 112 catches, was right there with the all-time career record for a tight end. 1,000 plus, 1,100 plus yards, 2+ yards per out run. Laporta was only at 1.75 last year. He had a meaningfully better targets per out run than Laporta, meaningfully better yards per target than Laporta at a lower ADOT. He added efficiency. He's a fucking beast on film. If you I watch all the games. I promise you that if you watch him play this year, you're gonna be this dude's the best tight end since Gronk. He's incredible. But setting that aside, the numbers weren't just a decent year, and we know that tight ends take longer to break out. He had a rough rookie year, and then he had a legit massive breakout that I think it has been understated, not by you, Pat, but by the market, because before week 8, he never played more than 53% of the snaps, or excuse me, more than 60%. And then in week 8, he started every game from that point forward. He had started 2 games prior, weeks 2 and 3, but was mostly not starting because Ertz was starting. He started every game. He jumped to an 82% snap share in week 8 and never went below, I think it's 69% was his low from that point forward. The snap share stuff doesn't really matter, but the point is there's a clear delineation when you look at it. He was sub 60%.
He was their number one option. He was their passing game.
Plus. Yeah, and in that stretch where he actually got an opportunity to play as a full-time player, he paced for almost 100. I understand the concern of other target competition, this and that, but he paced for almost 150 targets, over 110 catches. His catch rate has been 75 plus both years. People talk about how good his hands are. You talk about the tight end premium stuff you're talking about. I think that's maybe not emphasized enough either, that he was considered an elite hands prospect by film watchers. And I just think he's going to get volume based on what he showed last year to some degree, and he's going to catch a really high percentage of it. It's it's really hard for me to see how he doesn't actually have a pretty high floor. And then I actually think the full season, I mean, if he just would have played all of last year, I think he would have been going maybe tight end 1. Like, I think people would be going higher on him if he would have been the full-time guy weeks 1 to 7. I just think that start of the year has, I know the split data doesn't really matter that much, or there's like reasons not to buy it. But when we see a legit role change from a young tight end in year 2, and then he breaks out and he goes 2+ yards per out run, like, I want to look at the split data and be like, this is how good this guy was on a per game basis, you know?
Leone, was it you wanted Kelsey, right? Just because he's a little bit older.
This is how it's going to be remembered as Gretsch overrode Leone at the Kelsey McBride pick.
I know. I'm not even going to get any shade thrown my way.
I was actually infuriated when you posted your BBM exposures, how many rookies you had, really kind of destroying the bit that we built up around here.
It was enough already, in the words of Adam Levitan.
That's right.
Man, we you know, you get the draft slot you get, but I think we would have been really happy with some selections if we were at the beginning part of this draft.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so the Bijan drafter gets Marv, the Brees drafter gets Olave, Lamb goes ETN, and then the one hole tacks on Cup and Neighbors to a CMC start.
And like someone's getting Kincaid in round 3.
Yeah.
I don't think I have to spoil that. I highly doubt he's lasting to 312 based on anything we say.
Yeah.
If I ruined that, I apologize. But I doubt it.
I don't think. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's some nice.
What is the name of this team in the 3-hole here? Dream Chasers? Okay.
We got Chad picking 4th with his usual Cocktails and Dreams.
Dream Chasers is next to Cocktails and Dreams. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Why do I see Chris G here? Is this our Chris G next to this Dream Chasers? G, announce yourself. Are you in this 5K? I see CG on the owner's list here.
Man, Chad going Bijan, Marv, Achan.
Which one would G be? What draft slot?
3.
That's a very nice start there from Chad.
It is. I got a list of 7 guys, and I think it's going to dwindle. The list is going to dwindle quite fast before we pick.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul wants to know, Leone, you didn't get to weigh in much. Was McBride an alpha play?
I mean, you heard it from Gretsch. He's on film the best tight end since Gronkowski. It doesn't get more alpha play than that.
I think that clarifies or qualifies.
There we go.
Checo goes.
There we go. He wasn't on the list.
Yeah, I like that I'm drafting with you, Gretsch, where you have such conviction on McBride, because I'm just nervous. My truth serum was like, I'm not convinced he's like that good. Like, we've seen mirages at this position.
I'm like,
and mine is like, I think he's going to be with Harrison or above him in targets. Like, that would be my truth serum.
Yeah, I'm very skeptical of that, but I would like it. We have him.
I'm perfectly in the middle.
Go ahead.
And I agree with Pat that the tight end premium, like I not to get too bogged down on like getting too micro, but I do have McBride as like a really big gap between like half PPR scoring and 1.5 points per reception, which I know Gretsch has made some good points that like we could see the volume plus the efficiency with the offense just being better this year, which would be a huge slam. But I think as a fallback in the tight end premium scoring, I'd be shocked if we didn't get enough volume where he's not at least fine.
Yeah. My floor concerns are more kind of like half PPR focused, I would say. I'm more into it for sure in 1.5 PPR, because I also think it increases his ceiling, like his floor and ceiling go up.
Yeah. I just had this moment as you guys were kind of poking holes in that, and I've been very big on the elite tight ends and the top 7 guys. And I just had this moment where I'm like, I can poke major holes in every single one of these guys. Like every single one of them. It went from like, I could prop all of these guys up on a pedestal and feel good taking any of them to like, oh shit, every single one of these guys could fucking bust.
Well, that's the thing about the Kelsey thing is like, I feel like the holes you can poke in him are really strong. when me and Leone did the projections pods, like I think I mentioned this probably, but I had him the highest of any of my tight ends in projections because his efficiency is so strong. But I feel like his routes are like, man, that's a bummer, are like the most fragile. Like I was kind of concerned that they talked about it after the season. They were definitely limiting him, and now they have these good young receivers. Like I feel like if he gets any bang, ding this year, they're going to sit him down for 2 weeks and just let him get healthy. Like I feel like this is the year where we're like, all right, Kelsey's not playing as much. When he's out there, he's good, but like, I don't know. I'd rather take the ascending young guy that just had a monster season.
Yeah, I get that, but I think that's why he goes where he does, is that everyone kind of has that nervousness about that.
Yep.
I think he's still Kelsey. So any discount on him being still Kelsey, I want to take.
We are on deck in the second round. Neighbors, Andrews, Kincaid, Achane, Pacheco, Waddle, Ingram, Rashee Rice. Leone let out a sigh for that one. Nico Collins, Brandon Ayuk on deck. And then we have 2 picks on the 3-4 turn after our Puka and Trey McBride start. We're trying to see what the Laporta, Jonathan Taylor drafter is going to do here at 3-11. I think we're going to like our 2 picks, though, guys.
Yeah.
Me too.
The picks, I mean, as much as I like Ayuk in the full PPR, I wasn't sad to see him go, or Ingram. I think we had sort of pre-decided.
What are you?
Are we good with Pitts here?
I'm lagged here a little bit.
I mean, Leone in our group chat said, I have 2 wants. Take a tight end at 1-2. Take Kyle Pitts anyways if he's there at 3-4. I mean, we're fucking taking Kyle Pitts. We've been waiting for this to happen at the 3-4 turn.
The sick Pitts. But let's run this clock
use
down,
the rest
because
of
the other pick, there's 3 good options, and we can talk about it. They're not coming back. Nico falls here. Debo falls here. Kyron Williams falls here.
Nico's gone. Sorry,
Nico went. Okay. I missed
Kyron, Debo, Devontae Smith are the 3 that I like. I'd probably go Debo Pitts, though, I think. But
I think I'm good into that, or Kyron Pitts. I mean,
I'm also open to Kyron, but I'm completely fine with Debo.
I'm going to put in Pitts.
Put in Pitts.
Pat didn't trust me. I was on the sticks, buddy. I was ready.
Who's a bigger alpha play between
it
Debo
got
and
down to
Kyron?
10,
It's Debo.
Debo's definitely a bigger alpha play.
Yeah. I feel like Devontae is going to have a nutty season, but it's hard for me to justify him over Debo.
The only Kyron Williams thing is like, this is
we're not going to like another running back for a long time. That's the only other.
Are we going 0 RB, or are we?
Right.
If we don't take Kyron, we probably are.
We're going 0
but
RB,
I'm comfortable with that.
I'm very comfortable with it.
On a turn to get Kyron at 401, that seems.
But I'm torn in a self-isolated league too. It's like, ooh, should we just grab?
I'm pro Kyron at this price, honestly.
I think I'd vote Kyron too. What do you guys got? Leone can break it. He said
done
Debo.
Grosser stuff. We took Derrick Henry. I would be okay with Kyron if that's how you guys feel.
I think I'm Debo over Kyron, but I don't know. It's close.
Do it. Pull the trigger on Debo. You're the
alpha play on the.
All right. Oh.
Because what has happened to us? Leone is the one pushing Gretch and I off the running back.
That's a 0 RB.
Wow.
Was that okay? Were we okay with Debo? We were.
Yeah. That was an alpha play.
Directly split.
Yeah. Don't you can't put your hands over your face and say, "Is that okay?" You got to go alpha play, Leone.
I'm nervous.
Beta play.
Yeah.
Beta play.
Let me see the jump the shark in the chat right now for Leone passing on Kyron. Let me see the jump the sharks in the chat.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we probably should. Yeah, it was close. It was definitely very close.
I like the Debo call. I think it's fun.
Yeah. Every time I look at Leone, he's like,
Jared's got it in the chat. Kyron the 4th.
But Leone, here, let's not let the Debo Kyron situation distract us from this Kyle Pitts selection. You gave the true serum on the Deposit Kingdom video. Kyle Pitts, tight end 1. You called your shot. You wanted him here. Give us the bull case once more on Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty straightforward case. I think maybe the market is still underestimating how massive of a change it's going to be going from Arthur Smith to any other coaching staff, pretty much. And then the upgrade at quarterback too is really hard to overstate, both in terms of the quality of the targets he's going to get, but just the volume. I mean, Cousins isn't going to scramble. He's not going to take sacks. He's going to chuck the ball. I mean, TJ Hawkinson was going to have like 1 million catches last year if the two of them stayed healthy together. Yeah, I still think Pitts is really good. The one thing I'm worried about is if I'm giving him too much of a pass for not being fully healthy last year. You know, I get like the tiniest bit of like Juju Smith-Schuster vibes with how I've treated Juju in the past in that regard. But
yeah,
but if he's as good as I think he is, I see no reason why he can't put up numbers as good as or better than the tight ends that go in front of him.
All right. Fire me up.
Chat turned back around in support of the Debo move. And I really like Jay's comment here at 449. Be unburdened by what has been. It's already done.
That's powerful.
The Kyron thing, so I would have been, I'm totally fine with Kyron there for sure. I did not expect Debo to be there, and I just really like Debo. And I do think one thing I've tried to be cognizant of that I've maybe talked myself out of at times this drafting season is, there's going to be receivers I like later, so take the running back. But we know there's still a reason to take the better wide receivers earlier, as like that's part of the reason that zero RB works, is that you get the best wide receivers.
I love that.
So
that's something that when Sean and I did a zero RB, like whatever, one of the Stealing Bananas episodes, talking through it for people who didn't know it very well, that was one of the ways we landed on it. I want to say 2 years ago that I thought of again this offseason, where his take was like, it's just like, if you just think about these ranges, who's the better football player, right? Like I was sitting there going, well, we need Kyron for structural reasons, but like Deebo Samuel's way fucking better at football than Kyron Williams. Like we should probably just draft the guy that's way better at football. It's a good tiebreak.
Yeah. I do think the element that was in my head there was this being a self-contained league, right? Now,
Yes.
A lot of what I get excited about the zero RB is it just absolutely supercharging a sprint team where that's all that matters. Like you just need that team to peak 15 through 17, where we're here. A lot else matters leading up to that. And so that's what I was kind of weighing.
the one thing though, we do get a longer runway in the regular season. You know what I mean? Like
True.
we get 2 more weeks because there's not those league playoffs. So those 2 weeks that sometimes are super important to have that RB to, you know, just make the league playoffs, be top 4 after week 12. You know, we do get 2 more weeks to sort of hopefully run into, you know, a monster team with all the anti-fragility stuff that we talk about at RB.
Yeah.
And personally, I think Debo is a lot safer than Kyron.
That I 100%.
I mean, kind of goes back to the it goes to the betting on talent point that Gretsch made. Like you're getting the much better football player, which comes with ceiling and floor.
I agree. He's for sure safer. I think the whole thing, it's like if Kyron gives us, 85% of what he did last year, he's
a smash. Yeah.
He's just an absolute smash. And then you look at the names, right? Rashad White comes off the board 2 picks later, Jacobs, Walker, James Cook. It's like he is not in this year. He's better than
literally if he's around 85% of what he did last year, he's like the RB4. Like he's ahead of Jonathan Taylor. I mean, like we're talking like this is a massive discount on what he was last year. He had a huge snap
You're right.
share. One of him and McCaffrey were the only dudes that were like separated in terms of the snap share and being like so dominant in their backfields. Obviously, Corum's going to change that a little bit this year, but I think he still would have been an okay, justifiable pick. But Debo's obviously extremely justifiable.
Oh, for sure.
Too. It was a tough pick.
Do we get, some of these receivers that at times we get at the 7-8 turn and at times we don't? It could be somewhat frustrating at that point to be like, we're probably going to look at the 2v2 in day 1, wish we had the Kyron side, but for the course of this season, it might end up being, obviously the play is that we're happier over the course of the full season.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. And
so like I said, since we took Debo, the 4th round has been DJ Moore, Kyron Williams, Devontae Smith, Rashad White, Michael Pittman, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Mike Evans, James Cook, Alvin Kamara. So
Mike Evans at 409. We are not in a piss boy draft here.
This is the most running back heavy room we've been in so far this year.
Chad
I know,
noting that
which
of
is
the
now
two-
making me like, it's like so running. Like I don't want to see receivers go, but at a certain point, I'm like, ooh, if you snuck Kyron in at 401 in a super running back heavy room, you're like, that's
Yeah. Then things work out.
Oh, I was just going to
Leone,
note that the chat is pointing out as a tiebreaker that Debo is the better punt returner.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Blake Corum got listed as their first team kick returner today?
that was so
Are you
funny.
serious?
After all
Yes.
yeah,
Wow.
That's a
After
great
all
Kyron's
the
the
bit.
first
punt
team punt
return
returner, and Blake Corum's our first.
That's an
kick
awesome
returner.
bit.
So good.
You think like Sean McVay and Mike McDaniel have a group chat where they're just like, you want to troll fantasy community today, or do I got it?
they're good at it. Leone, I want to ask you your take on Kenneth Walker. I know we would have talked about this like a month ago, but I don't remember necessarily, and I've gotten way more into him lately, and I don't know where you stand on him. I'm just curious because I think he should be up there with like Kyron.
I really liked Kenneth Walker a month ago. I'm worried that his ADP has risen on a lot of the coach speak where like I like Jacobs better than Kenneth Walker probably still. But I do, man, I have a soft spot for Kenneth Walker, which is funny because I was so against him in Dynasty that year, but I still have visions of him being one of the few backs in the league that can really, break these plays from distance, and that being something that really matters.
Yeah. Dude, this one hole started McCaffrey, Cup Neighbors, got Higgins, took McLaurin over Diggs. Like if that was us, probably Diggs, or at least for me. I mean, that's a really nice start. The running back room is.
I'm definitely taking Diggs over McLaurin.
Dude.
Yes.
Wow.
And Chad, I mean, I know you guys aren't into Mike Evans, but Kittle in round 5 is pretty nice. We would have never passed on tight end as many times as he did, but
you could have talked me into Evans at that price, and I have him as a clear fade. But like that's crazy after Michael Pittman. That's really low.
That's about as low as he goes.
I mean, I projected Tampa's offense to regress a little bit. The market's not super in, etc. But one of the things that I did notice, because I do ADOT and target share and all that, is when I was looking at my total air yards projections, like Mike Evans was, I think, number 2 in the NFL behind maybe like Tyreek or Lamb, one of them. Because like he's a high volume guy that also gets it at a high ADOT. Like that's a meaningful thing. Like in the late 4th, like you could get a lot of air yards. You just got to catch some passes. Score some touchdowns too. Like it's a good profile.
Kittle goes, then Zay. We started Puka, Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts, and Deebo Samuel here in the 5th. This is not the FFPC main event. This is called a 5K big payback self-contained league. We're actually going to be drafting another one of these in 2 or 3 days. Friday, I believe.
Friday.
We will be in Vegas communicating with Leone over Discord. Unless Leone, change of heart, you want to fly out? Do it again?
No.
Mm-hmm.
This week is already no, not making it.
Bummer. What if I told you about all those ice cream Snickers bars that they're going to have on hand at the draft?
I love an ice cream Snickers bar.
You're like, let me clear my schedule.
That's probably the biggest selling point so far.
Yeah.
I mean, I love you guys, but the Snickers ice cream bar that I could get from the store, but.
So Team 8 gets the Mahomes double stack with Kelsey and Rice, which is pretty fun. The Evan Ingram drafter double taps tight end and takes Ferguson in the 5th round.
Oh man, this could become a tough pick.
Yeah.
Tank Dell off the board.
I definitely would have had Dell near the top.
Yeah, Tank would have been fun.
Me too.
Pretty big spread on these Texans wide receivers. Nico 3.9, Diggs 5.3, Dell 5.9. That's not his height, folks. That's where he went in this draft.
I would have pushed for Hurts if he was there.
Yeah.
I have Hurts as QB1 overall. I would have pushed for him, I think. But even unstacked, I don't think the stacking matters with his rushing upside and it being self-contained.
Leone, I wish I could screen cap this comment. It's perfect.
I mean, I'm just putting it out there. It's similar to the Mike Evans thing.
You want another player that he just touted. It sounds right.
All right, we are on deck. Hertz just went to the AJ Brown team, so we get
I feel like
some
that clock
stacks.
glitched for a
in
second.
here.
Maybe I'm just seeing things. So the guy that Gretch is giving me a hard time about, but I said Amari's last name pretty late.
Oh, he went.
There he goes.
So I think we all do we all like Worthy here, or I know Ben really likes Worthy.
I love Worthy here.
Worthy's great.
So Worthy, and then it's do we go
Lamar? You want
double rookie? I do like elite quarterback going 0 RB, but I think Lamar. I don't know. I could go receiver here though too.
I wouldn't mind kicking quarterback down the can or the can down the road a little bit.
Yeah, I wish we'd gone with
I think double rookie wide receiver would be fun.
So it would be a Dunze and
I would be
Worthy.
A couple guys ahead of a Dunze, but I could be in on it for sure.
Okay, I've got Worthy. I'll
Yeah,
take
we
want to put in Worthy.
We get Worthy. Yeah, let's put in Worthy.
I got it. I got everyone.
You guys are all pretty out on Deontay Johnson. I think
I'm out on Deontay here. I prefer, like, if we're going old, I prefer like Christian Kirk and Chris Godwin over Deontay.
I would do Kirk as well. I actually kind of like Kirk. I think
those guys are not
getting
anywhere
a little
close to the
disrespectful.
target under Deontay is, but we'll just
would we want to settle on a Dunze then? Just take the rookie.
What about JSN? No,
I prefer a Dunze to JSN.
Okay.
I pretty strongly prefer Dunze to JSN.
I'm with Gretch on JSN, but I'm happy to get an Adunze. I don't think we've gotten him in a while.
I also think there's probably a better chance that JSN lasts, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean,
I don't think either's coming back.
I don't
maybe
think
this is
back either.
This is a specific type of room, so maybe.
All right.
I mean,
I'm
Bowers.
Adunze, really... we're okay with Adunze?
Yes.
Yeah.
It also brings closure
Alpha play
to a ship-chasing trilogy. Jalen McMillan, Jalen Polk, and now
Rome Adunze was so clearly the alpha.
She do me wrong, never trust me. Hey, I'm with my dogs, with my huskies, yeah.
Going far side. Sends it to the end zone. Touchdown, Rome Odunze.
You dub. Woof, woof, woof.
I do think
there it is.
The Debo pick in some ways makes it a little easier to double tap the rookie receivers where you're not as concerned about. I mean, both these guys were kind of expecting to play a good bit from day one, but
did you factor in the clip equity? Because the chat is saying, fuck, oh no.
We just had to make it one more show.
Well, here's the thing. I like to think we have a pretty smart audience. If you guys didn't put together after the Jalen Polk clip with all the Huskies theme and then the Jalen McMillan, if you guys didn't realize that a robe clip was coming, I can't help you. I can't help you on that.
Well, I think they did. I think they probably realized, but they also knew we might not get a chance to play it. And if we don't play it, there's no curse. Yeah.
I love Aaron. That clip is huge for Keenan. The only positive buzz for Fat Keenan all offseason has been us playing a Dunze clip.
Gretch, I liked your Keenan take on Twitter the other day where I think especially the preseason stuff, like he doesn't care. Like we're really I mean, there's reasons why he could foul because he's an older possession receiver, but I think this Fat Keenan stuff and him looking bad in a few preseason things is just not the reason to be concerned.
But we just took a Dunze over. If that's, I mean, he was wide receiver 3 in points per game last year. I mean, I think I have like steadfastly kept Keenan ahead of Adunze. I love Adunze, but if you think that, like, isn't he the pick there?
I mean, we didn't really talk about Keenan at all.
Yeah, we didn't.
That wasn't brought up.
Well, because there was we were arguing about which old we would take, and then it sounds like the one old there was a consensus on. Although we have so much Keenan Allen this year already,
Right,
I'm
we
fine
do.
to.
Yeah, we do.
It was fun. It was much more fun to take a Doomsday. We also.
It is funny though that like we all had an old ahead of the Doomsday. It's just we can't
Different
like
olds.
we can agree on the
can
young
agree on the
player,
old.
but the old player is like
Right.
when you don't like the old player, you're like, really?
Yeah, exactly.
That guy, but like
I said Deontay.
like you're like
you
in on
mentioned Kirk,
Deontay, and
I
I'm
was
like Deontay, I've got like 12 guys ahead of him, and then you felt the same thing with Kirk, you know?
right. Yeah.
Well, that's why
That's
it's
a perfect
also
way of putting it. It's like you have everyone has the one old that they're okay with in that spot, but no one wants any of the other olds.
The turn just puts you in those spots, right? Where it's like if we were in the middle part of the board, the room would have probably decided for us Worthy or Rome, and then you feel like you're getting a value. And I don't know, the decisions just are that second pick on the turn is always hard.
The hard part, the only thing in the Rome was not coming back, but
No.
there might be some other young receivers at 7-8, and we might be like, should we have taken a Kirk or Deontay? In some ways are comparable in terms of like they should both be very high floor PPR guys, right? Like, should we have taken one of those guys knowing that we'll have Worthy and a second or even a second and a third wide receiver at 7-8 in the young breakout archetype?
Yeah. I mean, you can also flip it the other way and be like, if you take so many cracks at just the highest upside swings, like then you're going to be really happy if like Rome or Xavier Worthy, and we all think they have the potential to be like a top 12 wide receiver by the end of the season. Like they have that within their range of outcomes. So it's like, just stack a bunch of those and then know you're going to be good that way too.
Yeah. And with the Debo pick, I mean, we are already into our bench, which, is fine. And maybe more reason to even just keep swinging on the breakout of the younger players.
So we start Puka, Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts, Debo Samuel, Xavier Worthy, Rome. After we pick Rome, Deontay comes off the board. Then Bowers goes to a team as their first tight end. Lamar comes off the board in the 6th. Then Pickens, Ridley, James Conner to a drafter who went Jacobs, Mixon, Conner the past 3 rounds. Njoku off the board. Godwin to Chad's team there. And then Ramondre as we wrap up the 6th. Aaron Jones to the Josh Allen drafter. And now we'll see what the 1 hole does. They're the team that started CMC, Cup, Neighbors, Higgins, McLaurin. We've definitely, what's the next tight end off the board here? Now you're into Goddard territory. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where, like, as much as I love the breakout potential for Bowers, and I think Njoku's solid, I just think that, McBride and Pitts, where they went, are much better picks relative to the wide receivers than Bowers and Njoku are.
We've never even gotten close to Pitts dropping to the 312 when we're on that side of the board. So that was very fun.
Every single time we've been on, it's like Pitts goes where Kincaid went. I
had a series of drafts where I was either the end of the draft and he didn't make it back to that 312, or there were times where like I didn't take him at the 2-3 turn and then he made it to like 4-5, and I'm like, God, yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah. And again, that's a turn dynamic too, where it's like it's a little harder to read the room in the positional runs. But the way FFPC scoring works in the early rounds, especially, it's so hard to get a read on what a team's going to do positionally. Like they can literally justify any position other than maybe their second quarterback. Like everything else is always fair game.
I think we're gonna like this turn again.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just going to have to figure out. we definitely have like lots of, Kyler went off the board. If there was a chance he fell all the way back to us with McBride, I think that could have been fun, but
He'd be very fun.
I don't think we have a Kyler share in high stakes this year, do we?
I don't think so.
I don't think we've landed on him.
Kyler is that? I don't have Kyler in much redraft stuff. I like him. He really steamed quickly.
Yeah, he did.
Like early in the offseason, and then he never really came back down, which he's probably fine where he goes. It just I'm actually kind of surprised positionally where he went in this draft, not necessarily overall, but
yeah. Chad goes Javonte to add to an Achan in Bijan room. Yeah, only a couple wide receivers off the board in these past 8 picks. If you guys missed it early,
there goes Kirk.
Kirk goes, yeah. Yeah, that's quite the slide there.
Leone, you're still in on Kirk, it sounds like.
yeah, I mean, I was in on him last year, and he basically did, with the offense not playing that well and Lawrence not doing that great, he basically did. He was totally fine for where he went last year, and I think this year it's sort of the same case, except I think the offense could be better or should be better. I do think we'll still see. Yeah, well, the slot stuff is still going to be a thing, but
I think it's overblown. Like he played in a ton in the slot last year. He is actually a pretty decent target earner. So, if he has like 80% route participation, I think it's okay. You're betting on the offense to take a step forward.
Yeah,
Leone, I know you guys just dropped your first batch of week 1 DFS projections. Did any week 1 projections surprise you? Maybe with some of these top guys who have already gone off the board.
Our Jonathan Taylor projection feels really light, and I'm having a hard time getting it higher. That was kind of surprising me, but I've been like so scrambling just on inputs that I haven't like totally digested the output. I just remember seeing that. It is funny, week 1, you see some of these dustier guys that we're afraid of in redraft, like Rashad White, Alvin Kamara, projecting with the guys that we really like, for a 1 week thing. So it's an immediate mind shift when you get into DFS for 1 week.
I mean, Kamara, like who's stealing touches from Kamara week 1?
Right. No one.
Yeah.
Man, Keenan 7-7.
Keenan falls to 7-7.
Maybe Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this turn. There are some really good players still available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of good players.
The question is like, are we making room for a running back here? Because
I almost think we're not, but I could be. There's one that me and Gretch both like. There's 2 that I think are pretty solid options.
One of my favorites is still on the board too.
There's just so many. This is gonna be a tough turn.
It's a really tough turn.
There's like 3 different positions we could go for sure. That we're
Keenan went,
talk through.
Then Najee, then Jalen Warren, then JSN did go. I was kind of crossing my fingers seeing if he would come all the way back.
Dude, he almost yeah. I mean, that was very close.
There's a couple receivers we like. You mentioned the running back. I mean, QB to me that in a self-contained league unstacked makes sense here too. And
I think that would be my
zero
vote.
RB. In 0RB that you kind of want some high-end quarterback upside as well. So it's a lot of paths here.
this guy going to time out and get the quarterback that we want?
So you got the running back.
So I would be Stroud and probably Jaden Reed, but I really like Brian Thomas too.
Reed was mine. I love Jaden Reed, so having him all the way back here seems
I think
nice.
Reed
And
really
I'm
fits
fine
the
with
build.
Stroud.
I think Reed's a great pick. I think we're in unison on that. You're even liking Thomas. You're okay passing him here, Leone? Because to me, I like it.
Yeah,
Stroud
I
Reed
love
too,
Thomas, but Jaden Reed is. I mean, this is just a great spot for.
This
Jaden
is a
Reed.
great spot for Reed for sure. But
an underdog, Jaden Reed
Is
goes like a full round and a half earlier.
Let's can we
so
put
I got
Reed first and let this bleed?
I've got him first. I'll click it with like 2 seconds left. Just to
Do you
be
guys have
extra
any
safe.
interest in not this quarterback, but doing the stack?
Well, I was gonna say, but do we use this to push QB, knowing there's a lot that have already gone?
So my take here is, I think Stroud could really separate from the remaining quarterbacks, and since we've gone 0 RB, it's okay to take the luxury pick.
I really
also
like too structurally.
We could take Brian Thomas and just close out receiver, or we could take. There's one running back that I kind of like that we could take, but I'd almost rather just go 0 RB at this point.
I like it. Let's do the quarterback and beat everyone everywhere else.
Are you okay with that?
All right, let's do it. Yeah.
It's a 12-team league move for sure, unstacked. But I mean, CJ Stroud at this point is.
It's also, this is like very minor scoring thing, but it is 1 point per 20 yards passing, not 25, which is good for Stroud.
Yeah,
obviously.
Right. Yeah, and there is going to be like a very good quarterback value in round 11, and that we're going to be annoyed by. But I think that's where you just have faith that you've built in the Stroud going nuts, and you can still win. And it's not an overall contest. Stroud can go nuts, and we don't have the receiver. It doesn't. We're stacked at pass catcher. Like we're not. It's not like we're dead because Stroud goes nuts, and we don't. And if anything, like there's definitely possibilities where that offense kind of plays out like the Niners, right? Where you're taking some pretty low scores from some of your receivers each week because, one of them's going off for the insane game. And it's kind of a merry-go-round of sorts where you're just happy to have all of the production through Stroud and not even deal with the managed start sits. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy to have those Texans in my lineup, but there's lots of ways where playing it through Stroud works out very nicely.
I'm curious who the running back was. Will you put it in the
Chase Brown was the guy that I was thinking of.
That's who I was thinking too. And Pat, I think would have been out at this price, right, Pat?
So I definitely
especially with
Brian
like
Thomas
Stroud
and Stroud.
or something fun. Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
He's
the
that
one
was part of why I was
have
leaning more
voted
Stroud,
for.
as I felt like we weren't going to probably line up on the run. That would have been my running back. I was curious if it was yours, Leone.
Knock on wood. I wonder if we see the room let up at running back now, and we actually like end up okay here. We're gonna be okay no matter what, but there's a couple guys where we'd be like,
I don't know if they're gonna come back, dude.
You
I mean, these guys could start 4 running backs, and they're gonna take it.
I know. I'm just saying there's a chance we run.
Never underestimate how many running backs FFPC drafters will draft. That's the thing that Crane taught me. Like the first time I came over to ship chasing years ago. You guys both probably, Pat and Pete, you guys were like, never underestimate.
We learned that lesson.
Yeah,
the second you think they're done,
that's a hard-earned lesson.
They're going to keep going.
It's been proven over and over again, time and again.
Well, when you get your heart ripped out, hoping Darwin Thompson falls to the 8th, it's gone too far.
But hey, we got Justice Hill, man.
It's honestly incredible. Like similar whenever I see Mike Evans, and I'm like, the fact that he's been doing this since 2014, the fact that Justice Hill is still kicking around in draftable, considering that was a target when he was a rookie for us, however many years ago.
I often think about that, and I'm like, I got caught up in it, and I'm like, in hindsight, I'm like, what were the odds that play would work out? Not because it was not that it was a bad pick, but the odds that play that rookie year would work out had to be like 20%. You know what I mean?
In my head, it was about 80, 85%.
Oh, dude, I'm with you. But it's funny to like we get so attached to these guys, and it's like the probabilities are pretty low, you know. That
Right.
Dude, there's a dude in chat that's having a rough show.
Do I need? I haven't.
I think you just put him in timeout at this point. The rest of the
What's
chat's
his name?
pointing it out.
Who's having a tough time?
Or something. He's been having.
Durrell,
a hard
yeah,
time.
I've actually seen. Yeah, bye, dude. We don't need to deal with you.
Several other chats or other commenters are like, this is wild.
this is enough. Enough's enough.
Yeah,
it is
bye.
fun that we finally year 4 done a 0 RB team. Right? I mean, this is our,
Yeah,
this
you
is our
never
first.
have.
We took year 1. That was like the Swift gun thing, or he was like maybe murdered somebody, but that was completely false, and we got him at like 4-5, and we took JT at 1-2. Then we had the Eckler, Brees Hall. I think we took Brees Hall 2 years in a row. I don't know. We had Kenneth Walker last year in some capacity with, I think, another early running back.
We definitely got Brees Hall last year.
I think we got Brees Hall 2 years in a row. I'm pretty sure.
Well, we had CMC last year. That was the heartbreak.
Oh, we had CMC. Okay.
Yeah.
It was Brees 2. I think it was Eckler and Brees 2 years ago. So we've had 2 running backs through round 5 each of the first 3 years.
Yeah.
Which has worked well. And so we decided to pivot.
So we decided you're going to give us a 4-1 Kyron. We're going to smack it away.
That's exactly the play that has helped us in the past. But no, I think the thing is that we have also been flexible with our strategy in a really sharp way throughout. And I think we're doing that well right now. I mean, I think our team's strong. Yeah. Well, our starting lineup is going to be good, other than the running backs, obviously, which matters. But
dude,
so the format is 12 weeks still, and then a 3-week sprint for 4 teams. Is that right? Top 4 teams?
It's I think it's 14 weeks.
It's later. The sprint is later.
Because there's no league playoffs.
Sorry.
So we actually have more time to get our running backs.
And then all we got to do is finish top 4. We'd like to win it because there's probably a little prize in the 14-week.
So I think 6 out of 12 teams make the playoffs, and then 2 get eliminated, and then there's a 2-week sprint with the final 4 teams.
Okay.
I believe. I mean, things we should probably know.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just asking questions because I didn't bother to look.
Okay. Yeah,
knows,
6 teams. 6 teams advance to the league playoffs after week 14. The 3 division winners and 3 teams with the most victory points, which is like, they do victory points, which is like
this is head to head.
Half head to head, half points. And then the top 2 seeds get a week 15 bye. And then week 15 is you have to finish top 2 out of 4 to advance. And then week 16 to 17 is just all 4 teams versus each other, week 16 and 17.
Okay.
And so it's pretty cool.
Is there a prize for like winning the buys or anything like that? Regular season?
Yeah. Let me get the actual prizes. So you get $5,000, which is the entry fee if you're a first or second seed. And then the league playoffs is $25,000 to first, $14,000 to second, and $5,000 to third.
Okay.
So
if we just get in top 6 and then make it to the final 4 and then finish top 3, top 2 win it.
It actually is top 2 win it. This is top 2 win it.
It kind of is.
If you get the 1 or 2 seed, you're guaranteed $5,000, and then you've got like a 3 and 4 chance at another prize. So like a top seed is obviously, I mean, it's always good, but it's definitely very good.
All right. So since we took Stroud, Chase Brown went, Cortland Sutton, Brian Thomas, Christian Watson, Jerome Ford, Zamir White, TJ Hawkinson, Tony Pollard, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakur, Devin Singletary, Jordan Addison, Joshua Palmer. Finally have a little bit of a wide receiver run here.
There's one wide receiver on the board that like I kind of hope goes, but if he foul would be nice.
One of the
I feel you.
Things that has happened with a lot of our drafts as well when we're in the middle of the round is these rooms are a little different, and we're used to a different style of play, and I think we're able to take some what we would consider values. I'm not saying that the room is wrong necessarily, but certainly values to us. In this room, it's a little tricky being at the 12, man. Like we've had some we've had some near misses on some guys that almost made it all the way back to us that we would have liked. We also got Kyron sent all the way to us and just threw that away. But there's some stuff where if we were even just at like 9, things like Dell went 509, JSN went 710, 710, Nico went 309. There's some things in some spots that were like, I don't know if we would have taken Nico even or any of those guys necessarily, but we haven't quite been able to capitalize in some spots.
I do think with the Kyron thing, like I've been taking Debo over Kyron all summer.
Right.
Like not even really thinking hard about that. Like it's just to me that Debo was there. Like Debo being there made him the pick, in my opinion. I think in a way, we would have gotten a great deal on Kyron, but we would have thrown away a great deal on Debo too.
I agree with Pat. When we were at 3-3, there were like 7 or 8 guys, and I'm like, they're probably all going to go. And then there ended up being like 4 guys there for us to pick from.
Yeah. And basically what it kind of goes down to is the luxury pick thing, because if we go Kyron there, we're taking probably Jaden Reed and Brian Thomas and not doing the Stroud thing. So then you're kind of looking at, do you like the Debo Stroud or like the Kyron BT X quarterback? Is kind of how it would shake out versus whatever running back we take here.
We are like on razor's edge of like maybe partying or maybe being super sad. Like it could go. At least
was Ladd the wide receiver you guys were talking about?
Yeah, that was the one that I was like, if he lasted, that'd be crazy. We probably have to take him, but I kind of hope he goes.
Yeah.
There we go. Even though I like him.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, he's kind of crazy at this point. So is Chiefs wide receiver that has fallen so much. Like
there's two receivers that I think are very.
It's absurd how far Hollywood Brown falls at this point. It is to me, absolute nonsense. I don't even like him.
I don't know if you're trying to tempt the room into taking him. So we get.
I am. I don't want to have to take him. We need running backs. But
I should also mention, I made an executive decision to flip the chat to members only there. I wanted to actually get to enjoy some of the chats from our ship chasing community who always have fun and smart insights and not the cesspool that was forming. So members only comments the rest of the way here.
That was one of the backs that would have been pretty nice.
Zach Moss goes.
That would have
Jane
been
Daniels.
a nice one. I would have been in on that.
There's still like, we might have a tough decision. We're gonna have a tough decision to make. I don't know. Either our hand's gonna be completely forced and we're gonna begrudgingly make a pick, or we're gonna be
What goes?
Yeah.
I was hoping for that.
Damn.
I mean, the thing is we are actually, this is what kills. We're on the side of the board now where a lot of people hadn't taken running backs, in the 9 and the 10 hole. It was on the other side where, Chad double taps Pollard and Spears as his running back 4 and 5. Team 2 has 4 running backs.
God, there's one running back I think that'd be like particularly good for our build, but there's 2 receivers too that like probably shouldn't be here. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we might disagree on the second.
Oh, I know who you.
It's not who you think it is. I think
Jordan Love is a nice value here.
Okay.
Dalton Schultz goes.
Yeah, get your quarterback /tastic. We'll double tap quarterback if we have to. Don't force our hand.
Oh, we'll starve the beast. We'll starve it. Get ready to learn Sam Darnold, bud, if you don't grab a quarterback here. So we are on deck. We got Stroud. We got our 5 wide receivers here. Puka, Debo, Xavier Worthy, Rome, and Reed. And we got our 2 tight ends, Trey, McBride, and Kyle Pitts.
The question is, if he's there, do we take Hollywood, or do we just pass on the value? And I do think we're going to see a big drop off in running back after this, but
I think we should probably grab the running backs at this point.
Yeah. So Gus Edward goes.
Who's the running back you want?
I like
Right
Rico. I like Rico and Corum.
Yeah, I'm all the way back in on Rico. The news lately has been exactly what you want to hear. So,
I'm down with Rico.
I have him 15 running backs down right now. I'd be Corum Jaleel, but that's fine.
Let's try not to mention running backs that we aren't gonna take. In case they come back. Corum's fun on a team where you pass on Kyron too.
I know where you pass on Kyron. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I know. I think Gretsch has been outvoted on Rico. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like. Okay.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm not voted on it. I think it's
I think Rico fits,
bad pick, but
he fits so well with this team as an RB.
Yeah, he really fits the structure. I honestly think he's an absolute smash with this particular structure.
The question is, God, I hate not taking Hollywood, but I think we take Corum. But I think it's
we
Hollywood
can't take a wide receiver. I don't think we can take a wide receiver.
I don't think we can either.
I want a running back, but I'm open to who it is. I think Corum sounds fun.
I mean, Corum's like the biggest upside running back handcuff that exists.
I like Corum.
I like Corum.
I mean, I do also like the angle that we passed on Kyron. Like we made this bet already in a sense, you know.
All right, Corum.
Yeah.
Such an alpha play. Who needs 4-1 Kyron when you get 10-1 Rams RB1 for the playoffs? We get the usable guy, and then we get the highest upside handcuff in all of fantasy football.
Yeah.
This is how we dominate. Dude, passing on Marquise was tough, though. That was tough.
I think with the double tight end, though, you know, you're down one less flex, hopefully, right? With the two tight ends.
Yeah.
So it's like we have another receiver.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 pass catchers for 5 starting spots. So we can definitely take some more pass catchers at some point. It just the RB was going to dry up fast if we didn't go 2 there, I think.
Yeah.
we kind of already missed the tier, which is a bummer.
And not that I don't think these guys can hit in tandem, but I think the like Uber Xavier Worthy smashes are pretty correlated with Hollywood being a little bit more middling, you know, where he just felt because Rashi's not going away, Kelsey's not going away. Like if both those guys are solid, don't you think it kind of limits the super high end ceiling outcome of the other?
I don't know. I think Hollywood in round 10 is pretty insane.
But
no matter how you slice it.
that's in a vacuum the value. I'm talking about as it pertains to what we hope Worthy can be on this team.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just also like anybody, like, you know, Rice or Kelsey could get hurt too, and then you're like, you're dancing with both Worthy and Hollywood.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
I don't want to make a big Rico thing, but I do just have to comment on our guy RKFD Jonathan in the chat said Dowdle definitely an alpha play. There couldn't have been less of an alpha play. There's no way that's an alpha play. This guy's 26 and it's like barely played. He's a special teamser. It's just like we're gonna get some touches. We're gonna just put a guy in there because he's like there's no one else. We got to use him. Like, that's not an alpha play, in my opinion.
Well, he's the lead running back. He's the alpha running back on the Cowboys. So that's.
I mean, if he's alpha play, then anything's an alpha play. Look, this is like the biggest beta play there is.
I would make an argument that other than just saying injuries don't matter and selecting Nick Chubb, I don't know if there was an alpha play running back selection left on the board at this
That's
stage.
fair. I mean, well, yeah,
I
you
agree.
could just like put your nuts on the table with a rookie and be like, I mean, Blake Corum was kind of an alpha play. Right?
I honestly don't think Blake
Corum was an alpha play.
In the context of us passing on Kyron and then getting Corum,
it's a combo alpha play.
Yeah,
it's there's layers.
It's like the definition of, or how everyone interprets true serum now. Everyone's definition of an alpha play is just slightly different.
What about this comment, Gretsch? He's a regular guy and he was able to hang around the NFL for years. That's pretty alpha.
It's pretty alpha. I thought alphas were like big and fast and strong and really, really good.
Was an alpha for like just a normie.
For a normie, yeah.
Next,
For a guy
when
named
you
Rico,
compare
he's
him,
super
when you
alpha.
compare him to Zeke, he starts to look a lot like an alpha play.
He really does, man. He really does.
So we got our 2 running backs, Rico, Corum, 2 tight ends, McBride, Pitts, our quarterback Stroud, and those 5 wide receivers, Puka, Debo, Worthy, Rome, Reed. And obviously we're treating, the tight end, one of them as a flex, but it still is crazy. Even hammering wide receiver, even going, true 0 RB, you still are only at 5 wide receivers. Like, one of these guys is going to bust.
I know,
One of them is going to get hurt. Like,
Yeah. One question for you guys. I didn't really consider him. I definitely think Stroud was the right pick. But this is probably the only managed league draft where I think Zamir White would have even been remotely in consideration. He went quite late. Would you, if we didn't take Stroud, would he have been in the running back conversation for you at 8-1, or is it just a complete cross off?
I prefer Pollard or Spears.
I would have been Pollard over him,
Moss.
but he would have been in the conversation. I wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
I actually I would probably have taken him over those guys as like the running back 1. You're just like hoping he just gets fed,
He
I don't
gets
know.
your points for as long as he lasts, right? And
Yeah, he's a rich man's Rico.
He might last a while
basically.
too. There's no one really there. I mean, Alexander Madison is pretty washed, and it's more do we even win anything if we get the Raiders lead back? I think that's sort of the downside. But
Put some respect on Dylan Lauby's name, bro. He was on the pod.
yeah, that's actually part of my Zamir case at this point.
We'll always have our big
Yeah,
board shares.
I mean, I took him in Best Ball Mania. I think Zamir, like, there's no jump to the shark element with him, Leone. Like, we're just taking him in the 90s, like projectable volume in best ball.
I think this is where you guys didn't want to take Jacobs, and Jacobs was so much better.
Jacobs was a first-round pick.
Just to make the Zamir White jump the shark comp. I don't know if I've taken him some when he slipped part. Like I'll draft anybody kind of in best ball at the right price. So I don't know if I'm the right person to ask. I don't think we've jumped this shark, but I think he goes around roughly where he should go, maybe just a little bit too early when we probably all expected him to go way too early.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess it is hard for me.
Yeah, I ended up slightly
to,
overweight.
I know none of them came back, but I just have a hard time, like Zamir separating from even like Singletary and Brian Robinson in my head of kind of like what I'm getting. So to be like the first of that wave of running backs just always strikes me as gross.
Yeah, once we got halfway through round 9, though, if we had gone Moss Brooks, I think that would have been that's what I
yeah.
Brooks
would have been really, really fun.
I was hoping Spears. That was my like dream
He
one
would've
to
been
fall.
I mean,
Are you guys just out on Moss? I feel like
No, I like Moss a lot.
No, I'm in
he
on
had us
Moss.
take Moss in our last draft.
It broke probably medium for us. It almost broke amazing. It almost broke really badly. I think it broke medium for us.
Either Tennessee back would have been fun there. There's a lot of guys that could have been.
So the
there.
one hole cuff CMC with Jordan Mason there. We saw a few other tight ends off the board in round 10. Freiermuth, Komet, likely. Finally seen some other quarterbacks off the board too. Burrow, Love, Prescott, Caleb Williams. And teams continue to select running backs. Chad just took his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Man, Chad's
running
really
back.
light at pass catch. And oh no, I was looking at the wrong
2
receivers. But he's got 2
2 are
Tampa
bucks.
Bay receivers, and he's only got 1 tight end. It's a good tight end, but he's only got 4 pass catchers. That does I do like the FFPC with the dual flex, though, just making it so that teams can build completely differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're going to take a 6th running back, you want it to be a guy like Jalen Wright.
I do prefer how in NFC you get 1 less flex and everyone drafts even more running backs. I wish people playing
that
appropriately
is
to
a
the
nice
format's
dynamic. I felt like that one
I'd rather
year
people
though,
didn't
like,
play to the format.
I feel like 1 year it like really switched. Has it like kind of switched back? I felt like 1 year people finally like got it, and I think that was the year we drafted live.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think
there
I've never
goes
saw it that
McLaughlin.
way. Damn it. Oh, shit.
Eckler goes. McLaughlin goes. Bucky goes.
Well, this we did not want to see all this green around 11.
No.
We still got some plays. I do think we probably just need to double tap running back again though. I don't really think we
I
can
agree.
mess
There's one
around.
guy I would
There's no
maybe
point
say
messing around.
we don't have to, but
I like the guy
Yeah.
you're mentioning, Leone, but I think I'm with these guys that it would be tough.
yeah, that's fair. It's gonna get real bad. And this is I did a main event with Levitan and Silva, and this is dynamic that Levitan doing all the best ball drafts. I had to explain is like once you go to RB, you kind of have to stay. Like you can't ping pong it like you can in best ball because all the RBs just go, and you're drafting just like ghosts in round, 14 plus. All right, I think we're all on different guys
on this
though.
Here.
I would say my personal favorite is Ray Davis.
That's mine. I would not mind the guy Gretsch likes with Ray Davis.
We could try. I'm just saying I don't.
That's fine.
I wouldn't mind trying to squeeze him, but I get
my personal favorite. I think is Dobbins, just because we can play him right away.
Dobbins and Ray Davis are my top two, but Gretsch, do you like Ray Davis for one of these?
I'd be the other rookies over him too, but that's fine. I'd be like Lloyd and Vidal over him, but we can go there.
We could go Dobbins and Vidal.
Leone
we could
loves
do
Ray
Dobbins,
Davis,
Vidal double tap.
Okay, let's.
Do you guys have any interest in that?
Because we were at 5 seconds.
No, we're good. Leone's one of Leone's favorite backs is Ray Davis. I love Ray Davis.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm whatever you guys want to do on the second back. The guys I like are like Ty Chandler. If we were desperate to start someone, Chuba Hubbard, but I don't think we should do that. I'm just pointing.
I honestly think with Dowdle, especially, that we should take another rookie big swing. Like I think it should be Lloyd or Vidal. Honestly, I think Lloyd.
What about Allen?
Fairly bullish, and Allen, but Allen requires an injury more. I think Lloyd might play a lot. They talked about playing him a lot early in the offseason. They only kept 3 backs.
Yeah,
he might not play week
part
one,
of my concern is they actually like Emmanuel Wilson more than you think. But
sure.
But what about out of time? So you guys just you tell me. I'm happy with any of these backs.
Well, I mean, the one I mentioned in the chat. There's another. I don't know.
How about Allen?
I'm down for that one. I have no issues with that.
Which one, Braylon Allen?
No, Pat's
one. The one we might think could go back.
Say the name.
I don't think anyone else is in on
Tell
Allen.
me the name.
P. Ryan.
Yeah,
P. Ryan.
You
took
guys
Braylon
got
Allen.
the name in the chat. I'm like, just tell me the name.
Well, that was just confusion. I wasn't in on Allen necessarily. I don't think Pat was. Pete brought him up again with a few seconds left, but I don't think anyone else was with.
I heard you say big rookie swing, and I was trying to move us to a consensus.
I just wanted someone to give me an actual name.
Yeah.
And
I'm fine with Allen. I mean, I don't think anyone wanted him as the number one, but I think he's fine.
Sorry, I was desperate for a name there.
Yeah,
and no one gave me one.
We were all on like 5 different guys. It's just one of those ones where no one could really give a name.
Yeah.
I thought Dobbins Vidal was fun. Like
you guys were talking about Dobbins a lot. There were several names there. They're all in the same tier for me.
Right? Yeah, that's why I was like, when you're like the one in chat, I'm like, I don't know. We've been talking about a lot of guys.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, because the chat was about
Allen is a fine pick though. I mean, he's certainly a big swing.
For sure.
I thought Gretsch got off his guy for the big swing. And then Peter said him, but
I meant particularly one that, Yeah, it doesn't matter. What's done is done. What was that quote earlier? Whatever has been is done.
Yeah, the thing that I was struggling with some of the other names is I do think there's a chance that they come back.
They come back.
And that's why I'm like, can we really, if we could just get a couple of these guys.
I mean,
whereas I feel like we're almost taking our own targets ahead of
based on ADP and the fact that this has been a really running back heavy room. I think like they'd be going ahead of ADP in this room because I think they all kind of are going ahead of ADP, right?
Yeah.
So I was just
we'll see. I
mean,
do think like
the guy I took is the earliest
ADP,
by ADP.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And as much as we joke about these guys not stopping taking running backs, they will in fact have to stop at some point. At some point,
will they?
If I seem upset at all, I'll say that
the
two guys we took were my third and fourth highest ranked available running backs. So it was not like crazy at all. I would have probably been a little more annoyed if we landed on Dobbins after we already took Dowdle. I think we.
Well, that's why I push it off. The three of us like Dobbins, but I could tell the one thing you didn't want was Dobbins. So then I'm like, let's try to find, because I didn't want to do the other two running backs. They're the rookies, but I didn't mind Braylon because I thought we could sneak an extra one of those rookies in.
Braylon's actually probably a pretty good compromise play because I don't think there's no he's a big swing. I think he has potentially massive handcuff value. So
Zeke, that's who we should have taken.
Do the
start Dowdle Zeke week one. Start
honestly, we could.
We could have.
I almost was just like, let's just take Wicks and see what falls.
I mean, that would have been fun too.
That would have been
honestly fun. Wicks would have.
I just think when I think about some of the late wide receivers, and again, I like Wicks too, but it's just like, man, the 2v2s on the running backs and the wide receivers late.
Yeah.
We'll like the wide receivers.
I kind of feel like in a 12-teamer like this, it's not even a 2v2. It's just like it should be all running backs. Our whole bench should be running backs almost. Maybe that's an overstatement, but
I just don't want to get too. We have 7.
Not by much.
For 5 spots. It's not like. If we had 8, I would be like 100%. But with 7, I still think there's a little wiggle room.
Sure.
But we did take the quarterback pick in there too, an earlier quarterback, which makes our running back room a little weaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pigeonhole us into that. To be clear, I'm just saying, that's fine. I should say, if we left this draft with 9 running backs, and that we liked, it wouldn't be bad necessarily.
No. I wish I could send screenshots in the StreamYard private chat, just so everyone can see what I've got in the queue. Just so
we can all see what you have in the queue.
Oh, congrats!
Yeah, we can see that.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't been looking at the queue. Sorry, I'll get it open.
Because if you add the guys you like to the queue, I don't care if you slide that around. I'd rather have that information earlier than later.
Okay.
This is like, when Silva found out about the Slack chat halfway through Fantasy Feud.
Though there's sometimes I put a guy at the bottom of the queue, Gretch, just because I don't want to forget about him. It doesn't mean I want to take them. Just so you know.
It doesn't mean you love LaMichael P. Ryan.
Yeah, LaMichael P. Ryan's is like, hey, don't forget about him at the very end.
You guys have the queue exactly how my running back rankings go. So for anyone who's watching the show and knows my running back rankings, they down to the queue. I should have said that out loud.
Did the turn just auto? There's the asterisk next to the Cade Otton and Lockett picks.
It looks like it, yeah.
They must have.
So every team in the league has a quarterback, and one team has 2. The Mahomes team also took Burrow.
So Lloyd did go.
Yeah.
How was Braylon Allen going so far? I mean, I guess because of the hammy. They were so high on Lloyd, and then they IR Dillon and only kept 3 backs. And I know they like Emmanuel Wilson, but I thought that was really bullish for Lloyd, including that his hammy's not as bad as because they would have kept the 4th back.
Yeah,
no, I like Lloyd.
That's a good point.
I do like Lloyd. I was kind of hoping the hammy would allow him back. I mean, obviously, the updated news is that he's at practice and he hasn't really suffered a setback. So people paying attention, which this room probably is, know that it's not an issue. But
yeah, it's weird that his price stayed down to me. I talked about this with Sean recently as well in a draft, and he was kind of questioning me on it because I think he was questioning how high I thought Lloyd should have came back after he fell, like all the way back up to where he was. He was thinking, I think, that I was too high on Lloyd based on the conversation. I don't know if that's the right characterization of it, but I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that I've been too bullish on Lloyd recently in a co-managed draft. That's my point. But my takeaway on the final cut stuff was like, yeah, Lloyd should fly right back up to where he was going. Like, he shouldn't go behind all these
he did miss most of the summer as a rookie, which is a little concerning. But I agree. I mean, the AJ Dillon going to IR thing is big. That's like really big.
Huge.
So
I'm being repetitive, but I know Levitan was looking into this. He's very into Lloyd, but he was pointing out that if you read some comments, even going back to the very early offseason, like pre-draft, that it is possible they do legitimately like Emmanuel Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not a reason to like not take Lloyd, but like it might be a bigger battle to pass than we're assuming, I guess.
That's the September 3rd running back take, right? It's like 25-year-old backs that have done nothing, like him and Rico Dowdle. We just tell ourselves they're good. Like, that's what we do it on September 3rd.
What is the Wilson profile?
The next Raheem Mostert. You were arguing for Dalvin Cook the other day with a Raheem Mostert comp. Maybe we found the next Raheem Mostert.
That might be true.
What's the Emmanuel Wilson profile? Is he like a scat back guy? What is he?
Who?
No one. Right.
Emmanuel
Wilson. I literally know nothing
he's a human
about
being that plays running back.
Yeah, he's like a little bit more of a pass catcher, but he's not tiny or anything. He's 226. Yeah, he's 5'10", 226. Like, he's got some size. He could definitely do stuff, but he has 18 career touches, and he's 25-year-old. You know, I mean, he's not played a lot at the NFL level.
Yeah,
Johnny Mack has a pretty solid team.
They took Marshawn Lloyd on day 2. This was a point I was making to you guys as well. Like, Braylon Allen's a day 3 pick. Yeah. Several other rookies. Bucky Irving goes ahead of him now. Jalen Wright goes ahead of him. Those are day 3 picks. There's no other day 2 pick at running back that goes within 3 rounds.
I like it. I'm sold. Can we auto drafted Allen? Can we roll that pick back?
Can we roll that back and take Marshawn Lloyd, the round 3 pick?
Yeah, I'm down. You convinced me for it. I'm kidding about the rollback, but you did convince me.
But we probably.
But Allen's a good pick, and Davis they're good picks. They're not bad picks. I
think. I don't know. We'll see how much Ty Johnson plays. I think there's a chance Ray Davis is like playable right away with and then the contingent upside.
Yeah.
Where it's like the juiced up Latavius Murray role, is really not a bad role.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Benson at 11.
Do you think he has that? Because there was some talk of him with Johnson.
That's the how much I think Ty Johnson early might play more than we want.
Oh, was
it wouldn't be. I mean, this just happens. But
all right, we are on deck. We had a few running backs go in this round. Lockett, Mitchell, Mike Williams, Cooks, Gabe were the wide receivers. Goff and Trevor Lawrence were the quarterbacks here. We're going to see what team 11 does, and then we have the 13-14 turn. Our previous 4 picks: Rico, Blake, Ray. There you go.
All right. So
I knew we could sneak in one of these. Yeah.
And Braylon probably wasn't coming back. So
I'm fucking stoked. Okay. Great play. Great play.
The question is the second running back. So we all want Vidal, right? Vidal.
Yes.
We all want Vidal. Yeah. The next 2. Can we say them?
I don't think they're both going to come back, so I think we just talk about them.
Yeah, I kind of like Gibson for this team, but if we want to go all upside and take Tracy, that's fine too.
I kind of like the Gibson play for this team, and I have Tracy a big tier break in my rankings above him, but I get it. I get the Gibson move.
Like we could start Gibson right away. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We might start in week 1, right? What do you think, Pat?
I think Gibson is a little bit better fit for the build, just with like the week 1. But
Yeah.
I don't feel like strongly that we need to go Gibson over Tracy. I'd be open to Tracy too.
But yeah, the counter to the Gibson play would be fuck the build. We're taking 7 running backs.
Well,
just
let me
as many
ask
upside shots as possible.
Let me ask a question that I think will decide it. Would you guys want to start any of these 4 rookies over Gibson in week 1, or would you definitely want to start Gibson over those 4 rookies?
I would be starting Gibson.
Yeah, I'd be open to start Ray Davis, but yeah, probably Gibson.
Too.
It'd be Gibson or Ray Davis. Like I don't think it's a huge gap over Ray Davis, but I would be voting Gibson.
Then I think we take Gibson.
Let's do Gibson
starter. Yeah. If that answer, I think kind of tells you what we should do, in my opinion.
Yeah, the other thing too, like we were trying to take
Gibson
a crack
has like
at Jaleel.
Yeah,
let's say Gibson.
Yeah,
Gibson has contingent value, like for real contingent value.
He
I'm
has
actually
real
not sure what
contingent
Tracy's contingent value is. Yeah,
right.
Okay,
He
let's
might be
take
the
it.
same play as Tracy in some ways. They're both in a bad offense. He's super athletic.
Yeah.
He's always caught passes. That was the appeal of Tracy, is he caught passes in college. It comes from a wide receiver background. He's kind of the new Gibson, right? This guy that was a converted receiver in college.
Right.
Like the upside for Tracy is that he is Gibson, but they brought him in as a
right.
And then another player who cut down day was really beneficial for. They cut Kevin Harris, who was the expected sort of running back 3. It's
just 2 guys. Yeah, it's just 2 guys.
Yeah. Jermichael Hasty is going to play on long down and distance and special teams. They have 3 backs. That's it. Like, I think Gibson is going to, and the way they were using him interchangeably in the preseason was like he was playing on early downs. He was running, which Washington got away from. And I thought that the Patriots probably wouldn't be super into, but seems like they might actually be into using him as a runner more than Washington did last year. So anyway.
The other thing is that Ramondre was not very good last year. He was especially bad as a pass catcher. And they believe in Ramondre. They just give him a new deal. I think he's gonna, get more than just the first crack at it. It'll be his job for a while. But like there is, it's not impossible that he really starts eating the Ramondre's workload down the stretch.
For sure. They just paid him, like you said, but I mean it's not out of the question.
That's not their plan. Like it's definitely not their plan, but like we see team plans change all the time in season. This is like one of the things that we know for a fact and that people really don't like remembering in August and early September. But
dude,
these plans
getting Kamani Vidal though, oh my god! I mean, I think I was clearly not super stoked about where our running back room was going, but I'm really into Kamani Vidal.
That's why I thought there was a really good chance we would get one of Vidal or P. Ryan, and I just wanted to be like, if we could get any one of these other ones, I think we're going to get one of these guys.
That's a good. I didn't realize the ADP thing. I wasn't paying attention to that. That's a great move.
Yeah.
Other than P. Ryan, I was pulling up P. Ryan, and I thought he would go in this room.
Yeah,
that's a good call.
Lloyd is better than Braylon, though. I mean that. I just misunderstood where we were at. But Lloyd is better than Braylon because it's just going to be hard for Braylon to work out any sort of meaningful role without injury.
Yeah, but isn't that like I trust me, I love Lloyd. I was drafting him for that same reason of, hopefully having a smidge of standalone value. But don't both Braylon and Lloyd still need the injury in front of them to be uber smashes? Like, are we getting excited about a Marshawn Lloyd standalone role when Josh Jacobs is still getting 15 touches a game?
The way they were talking,
I tend to agree.
Draft, it was that they were going to use both. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I tend to agree from the perspective of managed league. Your argument, Ben, I think is like very convincing that we need to kind of like reassess where we're at on Lloyd, probably like anchored to his fallen ADP, which is wrong, which is just incorrect now, and get more aggressive. And I probably prefer him to Allen. I wish we could go back and take Lloyd, I think. But I do think that to be like, oh, yeah, we're starting Lloyd this week, there's no question. He probably does need the injury. And that's in the injury cases, I think Allen is probably a little bit better of a play. You know what I mean? Like if they're both one.
It's close. It's close.
It's just that Allen's useless unless we get the injury. Yeah, it's close.
And
I think
even
it's
if you
close.
do get that standalone value in a shared backfield, it's harder to start, right? The best ball, you just get the bank. Like Marshawn Lloyd gets the 2 touchdown game and you're like, slot it in. He's on the field. Boom. Like, but we're not going to know when to start him over Antonio Gibson for as long as Josh Jacobs is healthy.
Probably.
Right.
It's kind of,
But they've used multiple backs
Probably.
meaningfully enough, and they talked about Lloyd in a way that made me think that that might not be the definite way that it plays out. Like right after the draft, they were talking about like literally saying straight up, Marshawn Lloyd's going to have a role in this offense. We think he's really explosive. He gives us something. They talked about his speed a lot and how much of a different speed that he plays at gives us something different than what Jacobs gives us. They really like Jacobs too. They've talked a lot about how they're going to use him in the pass game, all these things. I just keep remembering some of those quotes, and I'm like, I think they like see him as like almost like the Jaleel McLaughlin of that offense to some respect. But he's not the exact same player, but we'll get him 8-10 touches a game, and if he's efficient on them, we there may have been scenarios where we'd be like, yeah, we will plug him in. I
agree with that. I agree. I think it really comes down to like, are we talking about a spot start we feel comfortable with, or are we talking about the smash? And I agree with Pete that if we're getting the smash, it's because Jacobs went down.
Yeah, that's a great point. In a managed, if we're feeling really good about it, it is just a contingent play.
And I will again completely admit, I think if you pin me down, did the true serum gun to head, I would say it. But the fact that we had 0% chance of getting both Allen and Lloyd going Lloyd first, where I was like, there's a smidge because of this hamstring still lingering, all of that stuff that he comes back. I'm like, getting the chance at both was like worth breaking it in that direction.
That's what, right when Vidal made it, I think I said great play. Like I think that was really good drafting by you three. I was missing the forest for the trees a little bit, but that was sharp.
I was talking about J.K. Dobbins. Don't include me in the good draft.
I took the wrong. I auto drafted the wrong player trying to draft P. Ryan. So
Gretch allows us one J.K. Dobbins to draft, and we already took Rico Dowdle.
That's right.
We already took one. Yeah, exactly.
This is a good shout out here. I want to mention this. Steph dropped her first fabulous article on her newsletter. I'll get that dropped in the chat. Nick, maybe you can drop it in the chat there for us. A fun recap of all of our high stakes teams so far that she'll be leading the charge on from a waiver perspective. So if you want a quick rundown of what we did in all these drafts, I actually have it bookmarked. I'm excited to read it because I'm asking, wait, do we have a share of Kyler Murray? Reading that article will remind me who we have shares of. So shout out Steph as always. And Pat, let the people know, because she's going to have a regular column on Legendary Upside as well, right?
That's that column. That's what dropped. It dropped on Legendary Upside.
Oh, no, well, there was something in her her fabulous her newsletter too. I must have missed the Legendary Upside one.
Well, the fabulous waiver wire article dropped on
beautiful
earlier today.
Yeah, she did a recap of our teams in her newsletter post too. I saw, so she's been cranking out the articles.
This build really came together, guys. I don't even mind the Rico.
It
did.
Anymore. Kamani Vidal really tied the room together for me. He was that piece of furniture that really tied the room together.
Yeah, Vidal was really nice.
Oh yeah, sorry. This is my
Vidal's...
mistake. I just saw her logo and thought it was from the newsletter, but it is from Legendary Upside. Thank you.
And yeah, all the RBs went. So you guys were definitely right to just keep pounding RB because
that was great.
Yeah.
When Trey Sermon comes off the board right after Gibson, we've reached the end.
Estime didn't get through.
Yeah,
I mean,
for real.
The top of my list right now is Roshan Johnson, who's still there. Jamal Williams, I have ranked this high now because I actually think he's gonna play.
I got like Madison or Lauby in there.
Yeah, it's not good at this point.
I don't want to throw around too many names in case we're waiting later.
I think running back's done is what we're saying. That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I feel like the last guys we've been taking have been like the Shipley and Estime. Those have been kind of the two go-tos for us, and now they're gone. So we have 4 more non-kicker defense picks. And the kickers are starting to come off the board. Some people catching up on tight end. Ben Sinnott, Chig, Noah Fant.
So are we back to receiver here? Is that what we're thinking?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you're back to shut your mouth, Patrick.
Oh,
Wow.
Don't talk about players
Jeez,
on the
man.
board. I just put a
We're
tight
I
end.
didn't.
Silva.
I talked about a position on the board.
We're not allowed to talk about position groups. We're too excited.
Oh,
I just do a tight end at the bottom if we do get sniped. I don't know if that's.
I like that one.
I kind of still like the two receivers at the top. What do you think, Pat?
That's who I like too.
All right, we are on deck here, 15-16 turn. We have taken 6 straight running backs previous to this pick. Rico, Blake Corum, Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, Kamani Vidal, and Antonio Gibson. By ADP, the best remaining running back is Alexander Madison. That's where we're at on the running back front now.
He's near the top of my ranks too.
It's not far in mine either, Leone. He's in this tier. He's like 6 names down.
You
from
guys are ranking too many players. That's what I'm learning.
me.
Roll the clip. Roll the clip. Roll the clip.
Roll the clip.
All right, can we do the
Let's
can we
go.
do the first pick and then the clip to roll it here?
Yeah.
We trying to
Couple
keep the
rookie
ADP
wide
down?
receivers. Yes,
I think
exactly.
Legette's the other pick, right?
Yes.
I think so, right? I mean, I do like
This-
Bateman this year, but
This is
No,
where I
I
feel
mean,
even
I-
better.
you know.
This cost. You take the swing on the rookie, right?
Let's do the swing.
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
It-
I'm just
take the
trying to cover
swing.
the angles.
We can cut him. Right? It's
Oh,
fine.
Yeah.
we're gonna cut
we
the
can
hell.
cut him.
Yes. Wow. And let's do it, Leone.
Let's
You
roll
want
the
to
fucking
roll a fucking clip,
Roll the
Leone?
clip.
All right.
Jalen McMillan is my official guest from the University of Washington.
Trust me, hey, I'm with my dogs, with my huskies, yeah, yeah.
He wants a deep shot. Again, and he's got McMillan. Jalen McMillan. Goodbye. Touchdown. Caught. A touchdown for McMillan.
Go dogs. Woof, woof, woof.
Woof, 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 woof.
He's correlated with Odunze. You know, if Odunze's sick, like McMillan's more likely to be sick as well, right? So I like having him on the
Hell yeah.
Is this the first time we've had the 2 Huskies on the same team?
I think so.
Possibly.
Most of our
I love it.
early teams, I feel like, didn't have McMillan on it. I feel like he's been a late surge. And a lot of our early ones had Rome.
Now, how do the people feel? Because our highlight clips have been a disaster, like an unmitigated disaster. There's no silver linings. Every single one has been a bust. But
Romeo Dobbs, silver lining.
And Rojo did have that one run. But these teams have been awesome. So we've got 2 of these guys on this team. Like, which wins out? Obviously, it's the
We're about to find out how powerful
Alpha play trump card.
The guy we didn't do a clip for, and probably because he just got so expensive, but I think was the most natural fit for a clip this year is also on this team, and that's Xavier Worthy. Like, he was like that guy this year, but he was just going so much higher because Pete was on him pre-draft. He's going to go in the first round. I loved the fit after the draft. Pat, I think you've been in on the profile.
I mean, I do have a Xavier Worthy clip in the hopper.
Yeah, should we just roll that? Just roll that.
we never rolled it?
Yo, you've seen it. Yeah, you want to know what it's like to get sniped on Xavier Worthy?
Not getting Xavier Worthy in a draft was like getting shot. Any draft where I get sniped on Xavier Worthy, the next one I play Mini Men as it starts.
Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be, and trying to take my life away.
It's what I imagine getting shot to feel like. I can't imagine a worse outcome for my day.
I don't cry no more, don't look to the sky no more. Many men, many men wish death upon me.
Davis, I'm gonna ask a question that I'm terrified to know the real answer. Is this the earliest you've drafted Xavier Worthy?
Yeah.
Can I say that one of the hardest I've laughed recently was the Crack Rock clip where he did not think that that was you doing the Davis impersonation.
Oh man.
Was like the funny.
Just adamant that
was so
one
good.
wasn't me, and then just so adamant
the
the
old
other
guy.
was me. Yeah.
The old guy with the
No,
big
the
nose.
old guy with the big nose.
No, it wasn't you. It was an old.
I wonder if it was the mustache that really threw him for a loop there, distracted from the big nose.
God, that was so good.
That was good.
Okay, Jawan is gone, but we already had 2 tight ends. I forgot about that when I brought him up. Did we get confirmation on Jawan's teammate positionally? Because he is not gone. Seems like nobody in the high stakes realm is worried about that.
He's currently listed on as a quarterback, and so unless that changes, like tomorrow, I guess, or Thursday, then he's nothing.
Weird though, because like the tight end premium scoring really kind of screws them over.
Right. That's what I was saying. I feel like he's not even that like as valuable as people want him to be. It's kind of a vibes play, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
There are a couple of tight ends I kind of like if we want to stash, but like we could just roll with 2. We don't even have to draft the tight end if we don't want
That's
to.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. We could just
I don't think with this build, like having a third really high upside tight end stash, I think that could make sense.
That makes sense too. Yeah. Either way.
Yeah, it's basically just flex upside. What's the best flex upside at this point?
I think the thing with
All right.
Taysom is
So-
like he really is more best ball. It really is more fun in best ball.
We built a good team, guys. I'm excited about this team.
Clay, there's no way. So Clay just said, can you please narrate Crack's recent tweet about the Vikings update? So I was like, all right, I'll go to Crack's page and see what this is, thinking it was 140 characters. It's a goddamn novel. I'm not reading this thing. It's like approaching 5,000 words. Someone summarize what this said.
We gotta run it through ChatGPT.
Yeah. I might actually just do that. We'll get the...
Oh,
All
he indented every paragraph. This
Yeah.
looks like a high school. Like this is great.
All right. ChatGPT, summarize this drivel into a couple sentences. All right. Here it is. The Vikings the Vikings are optimistic. Wait, this is way too many sentences, ChatGPT. No, 1 sentence. I'm not even reading this. All right. The Vikings are optimistic about J.J. McCarthy's future despite his injury, but the loss of T.J. Hawkinson has forced them to pivot to a challenging plan B, focusing on defensive strength and the development of younger players while managing expectations for the season.
The loss of Hawkinson caused that. That's great. There's a part in here that says, but here comes the bad news. They know Darnold has some deficiencies we all know. The problem for Darnold and the team is the loss of Hawkinson. Sam likes his tight ends, and Hawkinson was to be a safety blanket now. Wait, what? Hawkinson was lost before they signed Sam Darnold. That's not like...
Yeah, I don't think this is accurate. Now, keep in mind, Crack Rock got drunk with one of the Wilfs. Like that's what happened. You know what I mean? Like let's be honest about what we're getting the information from.
I do need to read the last sentence verbatim. I will let everyone know when I will bathe in Lake Minnetonka and the waters of Minnesota run through my veins, and let the waters of Minnesota run through my veins. All hail the Vikings.
Okay then.
Leone, this is generally a good time. I like to bring it up.
Out of weed.
Clearly. Do you have any kicker and defensive takes? You did do like week 1 DFS projections. Anything hot there for defenses for us?
I mean, the Bengals we can start the Bengals like 3 of the first 4 games pretty easily and just eat like one tough matchup for them.
Yeah.
That's nice. This
I
got to read one more. Correct paragraph. He goes, Plan B also calls for Nick Mullins to be ready to step in the fold in case Darnold fails to impress in the first few games. That's where he said all this adds up to a season that they know will be difficult, but they felt it is a blessing in disguise for the following reason. And he went on to say they love McCarthy. But he's claiming that Darnold could get benched after a few games. That's interesting.
I think Darnold has some sneaky bench risk.
Yeah.
I don't think it's high, but like, I mean, they were
definitely exist.
They were rotating guys. It was a turnstile back there last year. You know, Jaron Hall played a half. Nick Mullins came in. Nick Mullins went out. Nick Mullins came back in. Dobbs was in and out. I mean, they seem to have no problem doing that. I realized it was more of an emergency situation last year. I think McCarthy might have low-key ended up being like pretty good year one. That's my like truth serum take.
I agree. I mean, he was like very much an unknown, you know, not like your typical kind of raw prospect, but he didn't have a lot of attempts. So I think the error bars are a little wider, but that system is awesome. Like if he got the system down, and then the weapons are obviously awesome too. So yeah. On the other hand, they might have gone pretty conservative with McCarthy. So, again, it's like it just created wider ranges, I think.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'd go kicker defense here, but
let's get that week one dub.
Tolbert went.
His guy went.
Yeah.
Bateman's the only guy I'd be like, ooh, I kind of like.
I wouldn't mind Bateman, but
yeah, we could do.
Yeah, Bateman. I wouldn't pound the table for him either.
We could do one of.
I feel like I would even be like one of these tight ends.
We could push kicker.
I have so many tight ends that I like.
I know.
Kind of like here that's where I'm like, well, if we're gonna do that, let's just take the kicker and defense now. And
yeah.
Okay.
We kicker before defense. I think kicker we're taking like a really good kicker. Defense we could maybe wait because we're kind of just streaming it. Like we're.
But I thought you said.
I guess
we could start the Bengals a good chunk
to start the year. I'm just saying it's not like you're getting one that you're starting like the whole.
No. But getting a defense you're starting.
I think they are our highest projected, at least on the main slate. I didn't look at all the other slates. Is the Bengals
because they have the Patriots at home. Oh, but week 2 they're at the Chiefs, but then they get the Commanders and Panthers. Got it.
Right, and that's the 3 out of 4. If you just eat the Chiefs game, it's 3 really good ones. You know.
Yeah,
I mean
I'm
3
cool with that.
very good. Yeah, I would. And Koo is in our tier 1 at kickers, I think. So
Bears have the Titans at home week 1. And then then they go at the Texans. They have the same issue. Nothing in week 2. Let's do the Bengals. I like that.
Yeah, Bengals.
I totally almost fucked that up, by the way, but I didn't. But you guys good with Bengals? They're like up there in ADP, higher up in ADP than I realized.
I guess I would be interested in Bateman if you guys don't feel strongly about the defense, and we can take another one. But again, I'm okay with.
I guess mine is like. If Pete likes these, there's a few tight ends that we like as stashed.
Well, wouldn't we take one of those anyway? Don't we have?
Yeah. I guess I was kind of hoping for an emergency running back still, even though
I think we grab There's a ton of options at wide receiver and tight end.
All right, let's grab the Bengals.
Just looking at our queue.
It's also possible that someone slips just because a lot of these teams are going to be taking kicker and defense now.
And people will double tap it. They'll, the Baltimore defensive drafter already took Cleveland defense too.
You took a kicker before we got a chance to play the clip.
Leone got out in front of it.
I want to chase some fucking kickers.
Okay, we can chase. I mean, it's the last stream of the year. I mean, we can chase some fucking kickers for sure. And there's like a million clips in StreamYard now. I'm scrolling, trying to find these.
Kicker chasing. It's the show where we chase the best kickers. The kickers that help you win championships. The biggest legs, the breaking news. It's everything you've come to love and know. The time is now for kicker chasing. let's get some fucking kickers.
Oh, yeah!
Is Justin Tucker the only kicker in that video still in the NFL?
Yeah.
I think that's
so.
like the Tennessee one. Like, is that like Randy Bullock or something? And the first guy's that Rodrigo. What was that guy's
Blankenship.
name?
Blankenship.
Yeah, Blankenship.
Yeah.
He's not in the league anymore. Who's the Cardinals guy that got hurt?
Man, I don't remember.
Oh, I remember that. Because that was like the whole.
We had a whole conversation about the two
backup
kickers.
kicker, and then he got hurt, but you had dropped him anyways for matchup purposes.
They dodged it.
Was it? No, it wasn't
was
Fairline. It was. What the fuck was
It was Chandler Catanzaro.
Oh,
is that right?
Is that who it was?
Yeah. I remember that name.
Catanzaro rings a bell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that was it.
Okay.
No,
I'm so certain.
It could have. It definitely could have been. Let's look at Cardinals kicker history.
And in case you guys are wondering, this is a normal search history for Mike Leone.
Catanzaro was out of the league by 2018.
Zane Gonzalez.
Yeah, it wasn't Catanzaro.
It was Zane Gonzalez.
Zane Gonzalez.
Yeah. I knew there was a Z in there.
Yeah.
That there was.
I knew it started with a Z.
I'm glad.
So, I mean, is he still in the
Madison
league?
went,
Is Zane
so
Gonzalez
I don't think so.
kicking for somebody? I think there's like 4 kickers in that video, and 1 is still in the NFL.
Zane Gonzalez says he's on the Carolina Panthers here. I don't know if he's their starter.
If you guys had, obviously not looking at this right now, and maybe say an hour ago, if I were to give you a quiz with every single team and you just had to fill in their starting kicker, how many do you think you would have gotten right?
Very few.
Just embarrassingly few. Yeah.
I think I'd probably tap out at like 10.
I think I was going to say 8
Yeah.
to 10. Yeah. All these guys on the board I would have got. These 6. I know Narvison, because I keep taking Narvison. I think he's the best kicker in the league since last week.
I mean, you would get Tucker, Butker, Fairbairn,
Who's iconic on the Falcons? Elliott's been so solidified with the Eagles.
Tyler Bass,
yeah.
Elliott,
McPherson.
But I might have frozen live though. If you made me do it live, I might have frozen and not thought of them. If I didn't.
I probably am guessing Nick Folk at some point. I'm pretty sure he's out of the league.
Jason Myers seems to always be on a team. I don't know if he is still.
Are we saying? Do you know what?
Yeah. Do we have to name the? We have to name the right team.
Yes,
though.
it's not just naming
Nick
him. It's
Folk
like
on the
actually
Titans.
saying.
Yeah, I would have got that wrong. I would have said he was kicking for the Patriots for sure.
Yeah.
Moody. If I had gone through the team systematically, I would have gotten Moody. But I still don't think I would have gotten more than 10.
Like,
Probably
do any of you know who the
Frazier.
kicker is for the Rams without looking?
I know it used to be Matt Gay. Now he's on the Colts, so I would have gotten it for the Colts, but I would not have gotten it for the Rams.
I was trying to remember Matt Gay's name is where I'm at. He's on a different team.
It looks like it's some dude named
I didn't
Josh
remember
Harvey.
his name, Ben.
Dicker the kicker, we probably would have gotten.
Dicker the kicker.
After
yeah.
that,
Dicker
Dicker the
FFPC
kicker. Yeah, I
playoff
think I would have gotten
challenge.
that.
Cam Little, the kicker for the
No.
Jags now?
No,
Yeah,
not a
right.
chance.
No.
0% chance.
Matt Prater's still with the Cardinals. I just looked at the Cardinals and I should ask you guys that, but I think I would have guessed that.
Gotten.
There's a guy named Will Reichard that's kicking for the Vikings. Nope, wouldn't have got that.
No.
These are great.
I'm going to throw them all in the queue, though, just so we can learn their names.
I'm going to find one to quiz you guys on that I think is gettable, but I'm having a hard time. Okay, here's one that's maybe gettable. The Giants. This guy's been around a little bit.
Jason Myers.
He kicked for the Panthers at one
Is he
point.
Seattle?
Myers might still be in Seattle.
Pinheiro? Eddie Pinheiro?
Good guess.
Oh,
It's Graham Gano. Graham Gano is
Graham Gano. Yeah.
Pinheiro was a good guess, though. Yeah.
I just want to
Broncos
point out
have a
Leone.
long-time Saints kicker.
Oh yeah,
Will Lutz.
Will Lutz is with the Broncos right now.
Man, they love it.
Dude, I've got some guys to make cases for here at this 1920 turn. I'm ready.
Leone is named the same running back like 3 times and then / ducks every time. Like, how many ducks are you gonna?
I want to. Last time I did that, it was Elijah Mitchell, and everyone ignored me.
Okay. I'm actually not ignoring you. I will say, as a breadcrumb, it's very similar to what we did with the Blake Corum pick. That's all I'll say.
I was legit gonna say, like, is Dameon Pierce totally dead? Like, would you?
He's
like,
gone.
He just went, yeah. But like, I think I would have been like, yeah, maybe we should see if he's the RB2 at this point.
Yeah.
But he was so bad last year that it's like he has to be. Like, I hate leaving the light on for this player. I think is bad. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Derogatory or non-derogatory?
I meant it non-derogatory, but all I think about is the derogatory connotation now.
Sam Sherman had a truth serum take today that basically elite tight end is bad and that we should take the tight ends going tight end 7 through tight end 12 instead of 1 through 6. And me and Davis specified derogatory on our That's Fairs.
Derogatory.
We said derogatory. That's fair. Terrified he's right, though.
No, I'm not. I'm way too confident in that.
Well, just because it would be very bad for the bags.
It would be very bad for the bags. It's just like I don't think how all 7 of these profiles could fail. That would be.
Well,
shocking.
he took Kittle for his. That was part of it. He stole Kittle because he's going tight end 7. Yeah,
got it.
He took Kittle. Yeah,
that seems unfair.
It is. I mean, he's framing it disingenuously, but
yeah,
that's part of the fun of ADP chasing.
I guess if you say there's 12 teams, so you're just cutting it in half, and you get the top 6, I get the other 6.
I feel like everyone's been pretty clear though that it's like a top 7, especially on underdog.
Literally, everyone has been clear by drafting those players together, as opposed to
and then on
big
these
gap
other
Kittle.
sites, even top 8 with Ingram on like FFPC.
I think there's good people on both sides, and that's why I have all the top 7 tight ends mix and match with every Brock Bowers configuration to match.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm overweight all the tight ends somehow.
Right. I got a lot of Njoku tight end 2 bags too. I mean, there's
that's my own like Pete Best Ball Bros comment is I'll be like, oh yeah, I haven't gotten Kelsey with Bowers recently, or like, oh yeah, I haven't had a Pitts with Bowers. It's always just like reach out to the other guys I haven't paired with Bowers.
That's great.
That's amazing.
So I think we should take one of these tight ends. I think there's like a few tight ends.
Let's do it.
Then I think we should
tight ends.
I mean, we could take 2, but I just feel like we should probably, even though it's a miracle throw, probably take a running back.
Yeah, I'm fine with the guy you want to keep ducking over.
Running back idea. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I would say I'm most interested in the tight end at the very top of the queue. Kind of your same thought process of like, where's Dameon Pierce on the depth chart? Like, let's just see what these snaps are like in week 1.
Probably be mine, but. Yeah, that's a good one, Gretch, too, that you just put in. I mean, that's I'd be fine with that too.
I like that call.
I don't have a strong take. I'm just throwing names that look.
I mean, this is true. Just like let's just see if they have any kind of semblance of a role in week 1.
Guerrero is interesting in terms of definitely has more upside than the guy I'm thinking of, which is Emmanuel Wilson. Mine is kind of like they're clearly comfortable going into the season with Boyd not practicing. Like, if Jacobs gets hurt week 1, it might be Wilson for a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
They're very thin right now. I like it. We might see a lot of Wilson in the first game. Like, we honestly might see 30% of the snaps or something.
Which tight end do you like, Gretch?
I mean, I'm open, but I like Mayer. I think probably the best.
Yeah, I think I like Kraft or Mayer the best, then Theo Johnson, then Disley of the ones we have in the queue.
I just think like there's a greater than non-zero chance that Tucker Kraft is just their lead tight end, like out of the gate, and it would be a pretty sick bink.
You think so?
If we're just kind of wrong. I mean, reading how the beats have been talking about Kraft, like they've just routinely said he's their best tight end, like the past few weeks over and over.
They drafted Musgrave higher. He played more as a rookie, and he had a better yards per out run.
But I mean, it's hard because Musgrave got hurt, so it's hard to parse the end of the season. But it did seem like Kraft was at least even with him.
And I just think Mayer. I mean, we're not going to be holding, like we know Bowers is just going to come to, I guess it would be if we wanted more of a spot start early, then I'm more interested into Mayer as a whole.
Yeah, I don't have any
information on Kraft
anywhere.
I think that's
so,
good.
Yeah, this is a good take. I want to get exposure to this.
It's the information and then easy cut if he's clearly behind Musgrave.
Can we cut him after the Thursday night game before Sunday?
I don't think so.
Well,
I mean, we'd have some sick free looks here on Wilson and Kraft, but I don't think, because it's self-contained, I don't think they do that.
Yeah,
that's great.
All right, we landed the plane. Here's the team: CJ Stroud at quarterback. Or here, we'll go. We'll start at the top. We'll go Puka, Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts, Deebo Samuel, Xavier Worthy, Rome Odunze, Jaden Reed, CJ Stroud, and then 6 straight running backs: Rico Dowdle, Blake Corum, Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, Kamani Vidal, Antonio Gibson. Double tap these rookie wide receivers: Xavier Legette and Jalen McMillan. Grab Young Ho Koo, Cincinnati defense, and then a little Packers cheese dip at the end: Emmanuel Wilson and Tucker Kraft. How are we feeling about this one, guys?
Very
good. I know, Gretsch doesn't like Rico, which is, he's the 9th round pick, so it's not key to the team, but it's also kind of key because we're counting on him starting from week 1. But I don't know. I think it's a really fun team. We went 0 RB. We get the elite quarterback at a very big discount. And you guys were really disciplined in making sure we just hit running back 6 straight rounds, which we absolutely had to do. I like the team.
Yeah, I mean, I've been big on Rico, especially in best ball, where, I think he just builds well, because I do think he has kind of a high floor in a sense. And I think it's interesting to take him right next to Corum, because I think he has just as much contingent value as Corum in a sense. But then maybe he's the guy to start. But the reason I've been, kind of pulled to him is that I think he lets you do stuff. There's utility to Dowdle, and this would be an example of it to me. It was not only did we take him as our RB1 in the 9th round, at the end of the 9th round, but then we took upside swings after. I'm glad you guys pushed us away from J.K. Dobbins and went to bigger swings. I like him paired with a bunch of big swings, close it out with a guy we probably start week 1 in Gibson, but this, we're potentially scoring a lot of points at running back in the, back half of the season. This is not, we did not punt running back here. There is upside. But at the same time, I think we will score points week 1.
Yep.
Jaden Reed at 7-12 was really good too, especially with, I don't know, I don't want to say a reach on Odunze. It's a reach by ADP, and there were a lot of quote unquote safe projectable volume receivers we passed on. So that 2v2, that pairing ended up really nice to just still get Jaden Reed after we took Odunze there.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of the guys we were talking about, Kirk, Allen, JSN, they almost all come back. So I feel even better about grabbing Rome there, because kind of the other options were all making it back, and then we get one of those guys.
And even with Reed, one of the things to keep in mind is we took the 2 tight ends. So Odunze was a bench player. We're not playing 4 receivers. We're flexing 1 receiver and we're flexing a tight end week 1, and then we're playing the 2 running backs. And so assuming we play Worthy over Reed, maybe we would want to play Reed. I don't know. I'm totally down to play for Xavier Worthy week 1, but Puka, Deebo, both those tight ends, and then you have 1 flex receiver out of Reed, Worthy, Odunze, rest of the build.
One thing I was kind of curious about, there was a potential 2v2 where we could have gone, let's say, Chase Brown and Jordan Love as opposed to CJ Stroud and Blake Corum, let's say. Do you guys because that Love with the Reed pick falling, I did have him in the back of my mind. I think I prefer this one, but what do you guys think?
I prefer this. Maybe I'm underestimating Love's high end ceiling, but I prefer this one just because I think there's a chance Stroud just goes, nuclear this year. So I do prefer this one in managed.
Like Leone, I have kind of a meaningful gap on the QBs. But if you ask me, Chase Brown, Love,
no, I didn't say Rico. Though,
Rico.
That's not what I said.
It wasn't the 2v2 you asked.
Yeah, it's hard to do the 2v2s too because you don't know exactly like how other things would have changed. Like,
right.
In theory, we could have done, Kyron and Hollywood versus Debo and Corum, but we don't know if it really would have shook out that way because that's another running back off the board early.
That's what I was just looking at, what that ended up being. So we had the Debo, Stroud, Rico. I think a reasonable one would have been a Kyron, Hollywood, Caleb. Those would have all have fit as the opposite of that.
I mean, Hollywood in 10. If you 100% knew we were getting Hollywood in 10, we probably take Kyron. If you like.
Yeah, I think you're right because it was pretty damn close to begin with, and that's a reasonable enough tiebreaker.
Yeah, that was a tough decision point there, but I like this one. It'll be fun to see how this shakes out. There were definitely some super running back heavy teams in the league, but we're going to be in such good shape at wide receiver and tight end and quarterback that we've always said that too. Like when you do the mega zero RB, having like, even if one of, obviously like we can't afford one of these tight ends to bust, but like even just nailing one of these guys in a huge way would be such a win.
Yeah.
In that we've given ourselves so many cracks at just an awesome starting lineup outside of running back.
Yep.
Yeah. If we can, we can survive the beginning of the season being so good at the other positions and just having, startable guys in Rico and Gibson, and then just, one injury or one breakout goes the right way at running back. And then it's like, we're cooking.
I really, really like having Vidal, and I know Gretch, I kind of tied the room together for you too, but like, there's one where we don't need an injury, right? Mm-hmm. That's to me, like, you maybe it would help, but like, there's a case where he's just good, and by like week 4 or 5, they're like, he's our best back.
Right. That's why I really like him, and I really like the Allen thing as well. But it's just you're behind Breece Hall. You need an injury, right? And no one really wants to even think about Breece Hall getting hurt. I'm a little less in on Ray Davis than you guys. I feel like the Buffalo running back situation's a little tricky. The Josh Allen rush TDs under the new OC late last year, and then also just the profile. I know, like, again, I end up leaning on Sean a lot with the prospect stuff, but I know he was not as high on Ray. I think he would have had like the whole Vidal, Lloyd, Braylon Allen group ahead of Ray Davis. We had a draft.
But we do get 2 of those guys.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
We got multiple of them for sure. And Corum's another one that from a profile and talent perspective, I know he was a little bit more down on. Some people have some questions about. But Vidal's one that, like, if you're into these, like the idea of like the profile stuff, like, and Pat said, like, it doesn't even necessarily take an injury. If he's just, I think he might play in week 1. Like, that's one of my true serum things is I think he's going to play like 30% of the snaps in week 1. And people are going to be like, oh shit, he's this year's Kyron after week 1.
We're trying to figure out even in the DFS projections.
That would be fucking fun.
Yeah, we've been legit talking about that doing the DFS projections where it's like, is he going to play like more of a pass down role? Like, because we're like short on running back targets for the team, and we're like,
right. Gus doesn't play in the pass downs. J.K. Dobbins is still coming back from an Achilles, like, and he's a really good pass blocker. There's some stuff that he can do overall. They gave him a lot of work in that second game, and then they put him on ice in the third game in the preseason. Everyone was worried about that first game, which rightfully so. But they gave him like 14 touches. I think it was 11 rushes and 3 catches in the second game. Used him a lot. Like, they wanted to get a look at him, clearly. And then they put him on ice.
And Patterson's practice squad, right? I mean, He's not even up with the team, right? It's just those three
Right.
running backs.
They brought in Hassan Haskins, who Harbaugh coached in college, but somebody pointed out that he plays special teams. So he wasn't with them all August. I doubt he's like a big part of it, but he'll be active probably.
Leone,
all right.
It's always a pleasure getting to draft with you. And like I said, we're going to draft another one of these in a few days. Won't be on stream, but we'll be sure to post the final version of that team on Twitter. Same format, 5K, big playback. It's just 3 of us are going to be in Vegas, and we will miss you, Leone. I know you guys are deep in the lab for all things week 1. Anything you want people to check out over at Establish the Run right now?
Just we got our DFS stuff going, so check that out. The Sims we're teaming up with Solver to work on. I'm really excited for those. This year you'll be able to edit the projection on a player and have the sim kind of adjust, not perfectly, but good enough that if you have your own takes, I think that'll be really valuable. You shouldn't do it for like every player, but if you have like 3 to 5 guys, you're just like, oh, the Stroud stacks are better than, ETR projects. I think that is going to be a lot of fun to be able to fool around with that and see like at what point does it become plus ROI or not. So yeah, check that stuff out.
Yeah, we used to bully the optimizer, and now you can bully the Sims. That's how we do it. Pat, what do you got going on over at Legendary Upside here? I know you just released your content schedule for in season.
Yeah, Steph Miller just had an article out today, as we talked about her fabulous waiver wire article. So check that out. I'm working on the walkthrough, which is going to drop before I head out to Vegas. Got Matt Irby, a new writer on the site, who's going to be previewing the Thursday night football game every week, and also doing the Sunday and Monday night games every week. He's also doing the Friday night game this week. So ton of content coming out. And we're also adding weekly rankings. So I'm going to do weekly positional redraft rankings with help from Steph Miller, Daniel Raz, and Sacrilegious.
Awesome. Gretch, putting a bow on your redraft content. What can people expect here? Or what should they check out other than a flurry of posts over the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, basically the whole month, it's been a lot of content. Probably going to close that down for the rest of the week for the trip to Vegas. And then obviously Stealing Signals will be in boxes next Monday. Tomorrow at, I believe, I guess it'd be 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific, I think it is. Sean and I are regged for a main and going to be in streaming that on the Stealing Signals YouTube. So come hang if you want to watch a main tomorrow morning or afternoon, depending where you are.
A few ship chasing housekeeping things. So like I said, we're heading out to Vegas on Thursday. If you guys are around drafting, definitely come say hi. We will be at the Thursday night watch party. Friday, we're hosting our own party after the game. That's going to be at Blondie's, which is in the Planet Hollywood complex there. Not far from where all of the drafts are taking place. That's open to anyone. We just rented the back room, so feel free to swing by if you guys are in Vegas. There's going to be a lot of ship chasers there hanging out. And I should also mention, if you guys are YouTube members and in the Discord, there's a thread within the main ship chasing channel just for Vegas. So if you guys are going and you're in there, I know people have been making some plans for Wednesday night and other things. Definitely hop in there. That'll be probably a good point of communication. Otherwise, yeah, we'll see you in Vegas. And then as far as programming next week, we're going to have, so the ADP chasing guys just announced they're going to be doing an hour show on Mondays in season. That show is going to continue. We will have the return of stat chasing with Drico and Sacrilegious. That's going to be on Tuesday nights. And then we'll have the Shipcast every single Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, our live hang sponsored by Underdog, where we'll share pick'ems, bring on guests, sweat the games, giveaways, halftime pick'ems, all that good stuff. So the channel is going to be firing in season. Can't wait for all of that. And thank you for everyone who's watched the draft streams here in August. I know we all had best ball brain there for a while, but nothing's better than getting into the high stakes streets and getting to draft these teams. And again, thank you to Steph for being our waiver Sherpa throughout all of this. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the other side. Come say hi if you're in Vegas, and good luck with your Huskies bags. That's all I can say. Pray a little bit, guys.